McCarthy is in limbo. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Cowboys have not responded to the Chicago Bears' request to interview him. That might not be the only team interested. The Saints, according to Diana Rossini, they could be interested as well.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. You can always subscribe and comment there on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. Just waiting for the response from old Jerry.
What the hell is Jerry waiting for?
It's questions that I don't know the answer to.
My goodness.
Is there a time frame in which you have to respond?
Well, by January 14th.
Well, no. I mean, like, the Bears put in a request.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know,
all
like
right.
when you put in your draft card, you have, depending on the round, X number of minutes. Is there a time limit in which you can respond? And quite frankly, is Jerry's non-response, everybody's thinking, man, I can't say that word on radio. What a BS move by Jerry if he's not going to retain Mike McCarthy.
Absolutely.
But is this Jerry taking one for the team if Mike McCarthy has said, Jerry, let's figure out what we're doing here before I try to go talk to there, because I heard you in the media say you don't want guys that don't want to be here. I want to be here, right? I mean, it's just such a weird report, one, that we get. Like, here's the interview list. And some of these teams, man, they are interviewing everybody under the sun.
No, the Bears are one of them.
And the Bears are one of them.
Yeah.
And so if you're Mike McCarthy, are the Bears really, really interested? Or do they just need your name on a list just because? I don't know. But it's just such a weird thing, right? If, you send a friend request on Facebook or whatever, after a while, they could just sit there forever, but they don't just eventually go away. Like, is there a time frame in the NFL in which the Cowboys have to either allow or deny the request from the Chicago Bears?
Well, I don't think there's a time deadline, but the Bears may say, look, Mike, look, Jerry doesn't give us permission within a couple of days. We're going to just withdraw your name. We got all these other guys to interview. I mean, that could very well be what it is. I don't know. But, I mean, if I'm Jerry Jones, and obviously I don't know if he's serious about Mike McCarthy or not. Waiting this long just makes absolutely no sense. You're either going to re-sign the guy or you're going to let him go. And I'm not sure exactly what game Jerry's playing here. And I mean that sincerely, with all due respect to Jerry Jones, because I love the guy. But, I mean, this just seems really strange to me. Do you want him or don't you? I mean, it just seems like it's that simple.
Now, if you're Jerry Jones, because you do have Mike McCarthy under contract until January 14th, is it possible that you are doing interviews, right, and deciding, is that part of your interview process, your decision-making process with Mike, is let me see who else is out there? I saw a report, and I don't remember this exactly the way I read this report the other day, that while Jason Garrett was still under contract, he did interviews with Mike McCarthy and the old Cincinnati Bengals coach, John DeBlanc.
Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
Right? Was Jason Garrett still under contract at the time? I mean, the way I read that, I was like, I don't remember it quite that way, but it's certainly possible.
Well, look, I have to believe if you're Mike McCarthy, your agent is gauging interest from now we hear the Saints could be interested. Obviously, the Bears have asked for permission. I don't think that's illegal, is it? If Mike McCarthy's agent is reaching out to the – I mean, how serious are you about McCarthy? Is he a legit candidate? And I don't know if they would tell him or not. But there has to be some behind-the-scenes stuff going on because I just got to be honest. With all the stuff that Jerry does that we don't understand, This one I really don't understand. You either want the guy or you don't. I mean, unless you're trying to work on some numbers in incentive-laden contracts, as Jerry is fond of saying these days, I'm not sure. But this, to me, makes absolutely no sense. You either want the guy or you don't.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to have the guy. I don't see, like, should we be piling on Jerry Jones for not immediately granting permission to Mike McCarthy? Is there a time frame? But we don't know what is going on in the background. We don't know if Mike McCarthy has said, I'm not worried about that. And again, when I see these interview lists that 10, 15, 20 people, are they seriously interested in Mike McCarthy, or are they just putting feelers out to everybody? Because you know how I don't know how all these interviews work, but everything that we've read, you go in, you make presentations, you give the owner and the GM all kinds of ideas, and then they go with somebody else. But there might be something, a part of your interview that they like and say, you know what, that old Mike McCarthy, he likes this, and that's a pretty good idea.
Well, I think Mike McCarthy is attractive to the Bears because he can work with a young quarterback. And I think that's what the Bears are thinking. And I think when they're moving in a direction, whoever they hire, I think that's got to be a priority. You got to have somebody in here that's going to work with your quarterback, your young quarterback, who really they did a disservice to this year. They should have started this coaching search last year. What they did this year, they wasted a year of Caleb Williams. But so anyway, having said that, I think you've got to go in either a guy with a vision for Williams or a guy that's going to bring in an offensive coordinator that is going to be good for your quarterback, because obviously that's who you need to improve. That's the guy you're focused on. So I could see a Mike McCarthy being attractive to a team like the Bears just simply because what he's been able to do with quarterbacks in the past.
All right, so let me ask you this then. You're Mike McCarthy. You're trying to stay in Dallas. Everything you have said publicly indicates you want to stay in Dallas. And again, that could all be lies. But that's what you have said.
Sure.
Now you have maybe some options. The Saints are interested in you. And it's always nice to feel loved. And maybe that puts a little pressure on Jerry that, man, Jerry's ready to get rid of you. And you've got two teams lined up, right? But if you're Mike McCarthy, what is the more attractive situation? Would it be New Orleans? Would it be Chicago? Would it be staying in Dallas?
Okay, New Orleans is out.
Okay. You hate New Orleans.
Well, I don't know if Derek Carr's coming back. They're having conversations, and his contract would be whatever it's going to be.
Well, he's coming back, just not at any kind of reduced salary is the report today.
Okay, so then you've got Caleb Williams, who's on a rookie contract, and he's going to be for at least the next couple of years. So to me, that's attractive. And I say that because they've got some pieces there, and I think you can fill in some pieces. Now, it depends on how much say-so would Mike McCarthy have in trying to fill some of the spots the Bears have. But if I'm looking at just that situation alone, and you got Dak Prescott making $60 million a year, you've got Micah Parsons, he's about to get paid. You've got CeeDee Lamb, who's going to get paid. And you've got some question marks. Trayvon Diggs, another serious injury for him. How's he going to come back? How is he going to perform? Dak Prescott the same way. I think there's some questions in Dallas and some big-time holes to fill. So if I'm looking at that situation, I'm looking at the Bears. I'm thinking, well, it doesn't look too bad, at least from this vantage point.
I look at the Bears situation, and if Jerry says take a hike, then the Bears are attractive. If I'm Mike McCarthy and I'm looking at the Cowboys job, I've got 5 years already invested of building my culture, so I'm not having to start over, which you would have to start over there. And it would be. The other part of it, I'm looking at the Bears going, man, I could win 14 games in this division and not even have the 1 seed. When you look at where Detroit is at with no drop-off in sight, same with Minnesota. Green Bay is there. With the NFC East, it's a roller coaster seemingly every year. Washington this year, Philadelphia, but for how long? The Giants, I don't know if they're going to be good anytime soon, and they've got to figure out the quarterback position first. How long will the Eagles be good? Is Washington, is this a 1 year man, and then they go backwards? You don't know. So I think if you're looking at what division seems more winnable, you would look at the NFC East over the NFC North.
Well, then I would also look at a realistic approach to the Cowboys rebuild, and that's kind of what it is, although you've got a foundation in place with your quarterback and Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, but there are a lot of holes to fill. How long do you anticipate that this might take to get back to a point in time where you've got an opportunity to win that division and get back into the playoffs? So I just think McCarthy has some questions, and I would assume he's asking these questions and talking with people about what's going to happen here. I just can't see Mike McCarthy saying, Dallas is it, and I'm done here. Forget about whatever, Jerry, whatever you want to do. He's being pursued, and there is interest in him, and you've got to follow up on that.
Mike McCarthy wants to coach.
Right.
And he's going to coach somewhere, or he's going to try to coach somewhere next year. And Mike McCarthy wants to be a head coach, not go somewhere and be a coordinator. So I do think Mike McCarthy would be doing a disservice to himself if he told Jerry, no, don't respond to the Bears. Let's figure us out first. Because Jerry has until the 14th. So until he has a contract, no matter what that contract looks like, Mike McCarthy does have to consider all the other potential openings. And the fact that as we sit today at 2/11 on the 7th of January, there aren't as many jobs open as we thought there would be at the end of this season. It wasn't that long ago where it looked like there could be 8 to 10 openings, and there's not.
No.
There's not. There are some surprises, like with the Giants and with the Colts, that those jobs did not come open. New England, that was a surprise that came open.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati and Cleveland, there are some questions whether or not those jobs would come open. So there's fewer options this year for a guy like Mike McCarthy if Jerry decides not to bring him back. The fact that Jerry has until January 14th, I don't know. If I'm McCarthy's agent, if I'm McCarthy, I'm talking to my agent, on this next deal, I want my freedom 24 hours after the season ends, whenever that date might be.
That is absolutely true, because I don't understand what Jerry's waiting for. And if it's money, if it's a negotiation for money, for years, for all of the above, I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about, why it's taking this long. But it just seems to me that if you're going to make a change, you make a change. If you're not going to make a change, you say, you know what, Mike, we're going to run this thing back for another 3 years or 5 years or whatever the case is, and let's go and get this thing moving down the track one way or the other.
While it's not the norm, Jerry was talking about incentive-based contracts. Would you go for that? We'll dive into that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's cold this week, and it's going to get colder as the week goes on. Hopefully you already have your company's winter gear from Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. If not, you got time to get in there, because Sammy's is the only company in Texas that offers one-day turnaround. So if you need your company logo, your group logo on a nice half zip, a hoodie, a jacket, a coat, a beanie, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. If you need caps made, Sam has over 25,000 caps and more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom. And he's got all the popular cap brands like the Katie caps, Richardson 112 style trucker caps, Nike Cap America, to name a few. As far as shirt brands, jacket brands, he's got them all. Under Armour, North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. If you need T-shirts, screen printed, sweatshirts, long sleeve tees, go see Sam. He'll get you taken care of. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. Nobody has better prices. No order too big, certainly no order too small. You need one, you need a dozen, you need 10,000. Go see Sam. Call 210-824-3900 or get into that massive showroom down on San Pedro. It's about a mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
South Texas College Football Headquarters is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
And the most wonderful time of the year for fans. Bowl season is no exception. The biggest and best matchups this bowl season are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear them all on South Texas' first and only FM sports station, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MOVE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MOVE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Friday, The Blitz is going to be live out at Pop Stroke for a special Flight Friday with our friends from Yingling. Lots of Yingling prizes and pre-gaming for the old Cotton Bowl, Texas, Ohio State. It's going to be a fun time on Friday. Join us at a Pop Stroke there. I'd give you the address, Presidio Parkway, blah, blah, blah. Just put it in your phone and meet us over there. It's I-10 near 1604. You can find it.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get out there and see that place. Heard a lot of great things about it, and I'm looking forward to it.
You know, it's a blast. I have not been to the one in San Antonio. I have been to the one in Glendale, the Phoenix area. It's fun. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. 3 bars in that place. The restaurant, the food, I've heard is fantastic here. I know the food at the other one was, and you know how these things are. So I'm looking forward to. And the beer's cold.
The beer's cold.
Yes.
And
they got heaters inside, so don't worry about. Well, it's supposed to be cold this week. It's fine.
And I'm assuming our friends from Flight will be there.
Yes.
There'll probably be some cold beer that's free.
Yes.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, we will reward you with liquid refreshments for showing up.
So there you go.
And lots of prizes. Lots and lots and lots and lots of prizes. And maybe we'll we'll know by Friday what's going to happen with Mike McCarthy or where Jerry, if we will know who the next head coach is going to be, unless it's Mike McCarthy getting re-signed. The idea that it's always been done this way. And I think there's a lot of us out there that look at things and say, well, just because it's always been done this way, does it have to continue to be that way? I go back to, the deal for Dak Prescott. He's next. He's going to be the highest paid. Somebody I know named Joe used to say, well, that's just stupid. But that's the way it's always done, and he became the highest paid quarterback because he was next.
It's still stupid.
It's still stupid. Yes, the system is there. I look at some of the money that coaches make, and there is no salary cap for coaches. But they always have a salary, and then there's some bonuses in there. But you look at, what's the report? Sean Payton getting like $20 million, right?
Yeah, enormous.
That is, and I don't know what Mike is getting, 5, 8, whatever it might be. But if you know that Sean Payton is getting 20, aren't you saying, well, that's the new bar? It sounds like Jerry is trying to change the market in the way coaches get paid. I find this back and forth that he had with Jane Slater the other night fascinating, because I think Jerry is seeing where the coaches' salaries have gone, but there's something that Jerry can do about that, or he thinks that there's something he can do about that. And that's just, all right, man, if you win a Super Bowl, I'll write you that check. We know Jerry will write a check, whatever it is, for a Super Bowl, but I'm not going to pay you that and be disappointed at the end of the year.
Most of the fans want everybody to be on the incentive plan. Everybody wants it to be on the incentive plan. And so the more you can have the incentive plan, to me, the better you've got the way sports is aligned with sports and a goal of having accomplishment. And you align that with the financial end of it. For instance, I might say, look, I'm going to pay you this much, but then I'll pay you not any more, and I know you want twice that. But if you get to the playoffs or you win a Super Bowl, I'll give you 5 times that.
But the guy across the street might say, I'm going to give it to you without any escalators.
Exactly, and then you've got a decision. For sure.
But how can he know that if he's not allowed to talk to you until January 14th?
Then I would say go talk. I really would. Go talk.
So it sounds like you
I just let Zeke do that.
Gotcha.
I don't want anybody here. That's not healthy to have somebody around that wants to be someplace else. Really, it's not. And there's too many ways for everybody to go to be around where you don't want to be.
But is it also healthy, and I don't mean to be combative,
sure.
But is it also healthy to not know where you stand with somebody? The bird in the hand, in other words. How can you want someone to want to stay here if you're not telling them you want them to stay here?
It's called tolerance for ambiguity. No, exactly. The example is the Mississippi riverboat gambler.
All right.
Yeah. To me, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I would say, well, Jerry just gave permission. I'm in. He said, go talk. Hey, let's go.
But if I take that interview, is that saying I don't want to be here? But Jerry, without your commitment, what am I supposed to do? So, and again, if somebody is offering me $5 million a year guaranteed whether I win or lose, and you're going to offer me 2.5, just going with the numbers that Jerry said, and I'm just pulling out 5. We can make it 10 if you want, but let's just go with 5. You want to make, I'll pay you half of that. Now, this guy's going to guarantee you that 5, but I'll give you 5 times if you go win a Super Bowl. Are you willing to bet on yourself? And Mike McCarthy's been in the game a long time. I would like to think that, he's done well with the money that he's made over the years, so he might be more willing to take a deal like that than, say, a Ben Johnson who's never been a head coach, a Kellen Moore who's not been a head coach. They don't have the years in the game to where they can put away a lot of money for their unemployment days, because one of the reasons coaches make a lot of money like that is, they get hired to ultimately get fired. So you better put a lot of money away, because there's going to be some times you're going to be on the beach. That's just the nature of the business.
It is that. If you're Mike McCarthy, and look, while I agree with Jerry, I think maybe that should be the way it's all done, whether it's players, coaches, whatever the case may be. But it's not going to be. We're going to come back to reality instead of Jerry's fantasy world, where nobody's going to take an incentive-laden contract like that. They'd be dumb. It would just be dumb to do that. And if that's what Jerry's trying to do to Mike McCarthy, maybe that answers the question why we don't have a decision yet. I mean, Jerry might have walked in and said, "Here, Mike, here's a contract for $2.5 million a year, but boy, if you take this team to the Super Bowl, I'll pay you 20." And Mike probably hasn't stopped laughing.
Again, though, if you're Jerry Jones and the power that he has in the NFL, do you think that he might be trying to get with all the other owners to say, this is an expense that we can have more control over, where, there is no salary cap for coaches, and, all of them probably had the owner group chat was full of bad language, and they found out what Sean Payton was getting paid.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to cost them all more money. And you look at the Tennessee Titans fire their GM today. He's got 4 years left on his contract. I don't know what the guy was making, but, that guy just got a big old check to not do anything for the next or to get paid out that 4 years. And we look at college football is awful at this. The amount of money that is in college football for coaches not to work. Let's start with Jimbo Fisher, right? It's ridiculous. So is this a way that Jerry, with the power that he has in the NFL, trying to change the way they pay coaches? At what point, and most of us, and listening right now, including us, we're not multimillionaires, so I don't know what it's like to have that problem, but, $2-3 million a year, plus you get a chance of some good bonuses, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me, right?
Well, it depends. Am I going to get to select some of the people we bring in, or is that going to be all up to Jerry? Because if he puts a team on the field like he had this year, that incentive is never going to happen. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions that I would have as Mike McCarthy saying, yeah, I know I can win. He said that yesterday. He's a winner. He's won a Super Bowl. And, yeah, I can do it, but how much control am I going to have by bringing the talent onto this football team?
That said, Mike McCarthy has recently said he's had more input on the roster in Dallas than he ever had in Green Bay.
Well, he should be fired just for that.
Well, I mean, they're in agreement. But in reality, if you got Jerry Jones,
I have the privilege and the opportunity to do, and that's be a part of the Dallas Cowboys and run the NFL.
So he's running the NFL. Could he be trying to change some things?
He could be. But I don't think coaches are like players. It's not, well, Sean Payton made 20, so the next guy's going to get 22. It's a different ball game. You certainly, although Ben Johnson may be able to command that.
I mean, Ben Johnson, one of the reports is that's where he's going to start.
He may be, but he's in demand. That dude's going to get a job.
Sure.
And somebody wants him because of what he's done in Detroit. Mike McCarthy's resume is such, yes, he commands a certain amount, but you think any football team's going to pay him $20 million a year? I don't.
I don't either until I see it happen. But you just wonder if this conversation, because I've not heard Jerry, and I don't think you've heard Jerry or anybody else until the other night after the game when Jane Slater was talking about it with them. Have you heard coaches on an incentive plan quite like that? Unless the first conversation with Mike McCarthy's agent was, well, this is what Sean Payton is making. This is what Ben Johnson, who hasn't proven anything as a head coach, apparently is asking for. This is the new market, right? And so if that's what the new market is, Jerry going, the hell it is. How do we change this? I'll give you $20 million, but I need a Super Bowl in return. So I'll give you this. You get a Super Bowl, I'll write you that $20 million check.
Jerry's not offering $20 million. I don't care what it is. He's just not. And he's not offering $10 million. Although I don't know what Mike, he may be making somewhere in that neighborhood now.
Yeah, it might be 5, might be 8, might be 10. I don't know. But if he's gotten that for the last 5 years and hasn't delivered but one playoff win in Dallas, next time around, all right, Mike, You had all that guaranteed money. You were brought in here to win a Super Bowl. You didn't get it done in a Super Bowl or bust season. You didn't even make it to the playoffs. I love you, man. I want to see you continue here, but I'm not going to continue at that money, so we'll do this. I mean, you're not going to go hungry. You're going to be able to live in that same neighborhood with no problem. But if you give me a playoff win, I'll give you this. You get to the NFC Championship game. Here's your check for that. You win a Super Bowl. Here you go. We'll go buy yachts together.
Well, let's see. The Cowboys haven't been to an NFC Championship game in, 30 years?
It feels longer, but yeah.
Yeah. So the odds of that happening anytime soon are slim and none. So if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'd pleasantly decline that
offer.
offer.
You say that. I'm going to play Jerry for a minute and say, but Mike, didn't I hear you say?
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm asking Mike McCarthy to take everything that you've said, and are you willing to put your own money on it? Because you're willing to take my money, but are you willing to put your own money on it? You're still going to be well paid, but if you want to get that, what did Jerry say? I'll give you half of what you're asking for, and if you go win me a Super Bowl, I'll give you 5 times that money?
He said that. Yeah, he said 5 times. Again, I'm looking at the odds, and if I'm standing in Vegas and I'm looking at the odds of, let's say Jacksonville Jaguars winning a Super Bowl, and the odds are, plus 10,000. Well, I'm thinking, boy, if I put $1 out there, I can win 10 grand. The odds of that happening aren't very good, though. So if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm saying the same thing. Jerry, yeah, I can bet my own money, but my odds of a return there aren't very good. So I politely decline that offer.
Again, if you're Mike McCarthy telling me all these things and you've had 5 years, but you want to stay, Jerry is saying, are you willing to bet on yourself?
No.
Guaranteed money versus a more incentive-based contract. And I could see where Jerry is trying to get a lot of the NFL owners to go down a path like this. Now, it might not be half. If you're asking for 5, we're going to give you 2.5. And if you win the Super Bowl, we'll give you 25 or whatever it is. But I can see where Jerry is trying to control the salaries of coaches because there is no salary cap there. But not just for the Cowboys, but for all the owners, because one guy in Denver decided to give Sean Payton $20 million because when you go on TV, all of a sudden you get smarter. That's why Rex Ryan is interviewing today with the New York Jets. They ran him out of the building 12 years ago today. But today, on that anniversary, he's interviewing again because he got smarter on television every week.
Well, he got smarter, and he said, hey, since I left, you haven't won anything. And so it's a pretty good case for Rex Ryan. Again, look, agents, that's not going to happen. And if it does, you won't have Mike McCarthy's or Sean Payton's. You're going to have Joe Blow from North Dakota State coaching in the NFL. That's what's going to happen because those guys would take those incentive-laden contracts. Mike McCarthy's not going to do that.
Did you see Mr. Blow last night win another national championship there in Dallas with North Dakota State holding off Montana in a fantastic football game? I hope you guys watched.
And so you think that he'd do the same thing with the Dallas Cowboys? No. But he would probably take that incentive-laden contract.
I just you look around and you see coaches' salaries. They're all over the place. Now, in the NFL, we don't know what every coach makes because they don't have to put that out there, but most of it is, right? You look at the colleges. You look at what Jeff Traylor is making versus what Sark or, you name a coach at a public university. They're all kind of in that same general area for where they are. But in colleges, they all have major bonuses based on success. My guess is Texas State must pay G.J. Kinney a little bit of a bonus because they're hyping up that CGPA, getting hammered for that tweet, by the way. All over the place, Texas State's getting hammered, but I imagine the coach probably had a little bonus for that. Because they get bonuses for everything.
I would not be surprised, and if you go to Texas State, that's a damn good score. So it's just fine, and they'll graduate. They'll get a piece of paper and can do with that with whatever they're going to do with it with. According to the Googles, Mike McCarthy is earning somewhere between $4 and $7 million a year.
That's a pretty small gap.
Well, I'm just saying that's what it says here. But again, so you want to go lower than that? Say it's somewhere in between. It's 5.5, and Jerry says, "Okay, I'll give you 3."
Whatever his base is, And again, we don't know what Mike McCarthy's agent is asking for. Is he asking for a raise on his new contract? That would be dumb.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the market has changed because of Sean Payton, because of what Ben Johnson reportedly is seeking. So if he's coming in at 10, 12 million, and again, if you're an NFL coach, if you're Mike McCarthy and you're looking at these college coaches that are making 10, 12, 13 million, you're in the NFL, shouldn't you get paid more than those guys? So I could see where he might be asking for more, but there is something caused Jerry Jones to go with the incentive answer in the detail he did the other night after the game. I mean, the season ended, and that man talked for 38 minutes outside of the locker room after the last game of the year and had that kind of back and forth, knowing that we haven't heard him talk about putting coaches on incentive contracts before. Something happened to where he wanted that message out in the public. And he starts out that answer with, every fan out there wants everybody on an incentive deal, right? I mean, he's negotiating through the media. So what led to that? A ridiculous ask from Mike McCarthy.
Well, it could be a ridiculous ask. And if you're Jerry, then again, make the call. No, I'm not paying you this. Here's what I'll pay you. And then you negotiate and you say yes or no. I mean, but an incentive that until they start doing that with the players, which is never going to happen because of the union. I mean, they have incentives, but I guarantee you they're not taking half of what they're doing. And hey, if you win a Super Bowl, though, I'll give you 20 times that. It's not happening. And coaches aren't going to do that either. Jerry can say that all he wants, and you're going to end up with coaches that you're not going to like in the NFL, and the NFL's not going to let that happen.
We have a little bit of breaking news. There is another job open in the National Football League. The Raiders today have fired Antonio Pierce.
Hello, Deion Sanders.
I mean, Pierce said yesterday, I'm the coach because they hadn't told me anything. A little surprised didn't happen on Monday. They go to lunch in Las Vegas since it's noon 37 there. Just announced Antonio Pierce fired by the Raiders. One of the expected openings, now there. So there's another job
there you go.
That is coming open. Going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Zeke Elliott did get a job. We'll talk about that coming up. And Micah Parsons and his conversations with Jerry. We'll dive into that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. As you think about the games this week, whether you're looking at NBA games, Spurs Thursday, Friday for the Orange Bowl on Thursday, the Cotton Bowl on Friday, the NFL playoffs on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. No better place to go watch any of those games than the Rue Pub there at 281 and Redland Road with those three massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around. No better place to go watch any game. And, the Rue Pub has been the Longhorn watching headquarters all season. Get out there on Friday and go hungry because the food is fantastic. They've got that new bison burger on the menu that is outstanding. About 15 other burgers on the menu, including the original Wemby burger. The biggest and best wings in town. I love their fried shrimp. The great hot dogs that you can get there at the Rue Pub. Great appetizers, great salads, and that kitchen is open late every day with the full menu available. So when you need a late night meal, don't go to a drive-thru. Get into the Rue Pub there at 281 and Redland Road. Happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch any game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Rue Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Rue.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, the clock continues to tick. Does Mike still have a job? We'll catch you up.
And we'll preview Spurs Bucks as the Spurs try to get off the schneid. All that and more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy in the rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
See the best of the best, the area's top high school senior players in the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. 118 All-Stars from 68 high schools will compete in the annual Alamo Dome Showdown, Saturday, January 11th, following the National Navy All-American Bowl. One ticket gets you both games, just $15, available at Ticketmaster. The San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. January 11th at 5 p.m. at the Alamo Dome.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix. 6 jobs now open in the NFL. When Jerry makes a decision, there could be 7. Saints, Jags, Bears, Raiders, Jets, Patriots.
Interesting. And, of course, most of those teams have a list of coaching candidates that they're interviewing now. Of course, the Raiders just fired their head coach. They don't have their list out just yet, but everybody else does.
My guess is their list is going to be like everybody else's list.
Absolutely.
I mean, some, you know, and you look at some of the betting sites and, you know, like Cliff Kingsbury, a favorite in Chicago, but that's because of the relationship with Caleb Williams. And he wants to be a head coach again.
Absolutely. And he's done a hell of a job with Jaden Daniels at Washington. So he deserves another shot. We'll see if he gets that job or wants that job. But I would think with that relationship, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of good coaching candidates out there. It just depends on what you want and how you want to build your team. Mike Vrabel right now, I mean, by every indication, is rumored to head back to New England.
That would make a lot of sense, although with Tom Brady being on the ownership side with the Raiders, does that sway him to go to Las Vegas?
Interesting. Well, again, New England, I think, because you have your quarterback, is an attractive place. And I think with what you've done there and you've got a relationship there with the owners, so that makes sense.
Tom Brady is such a wild card in all of this.
That's true.
Because you have no idea what his influence was on moving on from Antonio Pierce. You don't know what his influence is going to be on with the draft. But when you look at those old teammates and Tom Brady's personal relationship could variable while he's thinking New England, does he go to Tom or does he go to Kraft? It's interesting because both New England and the Raiders had coaches that went one and done.
Well, it will be interesting. Where did the Raiders end up in the entire
with the draft?
With the draft, were they number 3?
I was looking at a mock draft earlier. That's kind of.
I think New England's got the 4th pick. The Raiders, not sure where they fell in that whole scheme of things. 6. So, the rumors always were Shedeur wanted to go to the Raiders. Could Pops follow him there if they ended up going there? So, a lot of drama in the offseason, which is always nice with the NFL.
Well, according to an ESPN mock draft today, which is comical, they got Cam Ward going number 1 to Tennessee, former UIW Cardinal as the number 1 overall pick. That would be awesome.
Yes, it would be.
Shedeur going number 2 to Cleveland.
That'll never happen.
I just don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening either.
Travis Hunter going number 3 to the New York Giants. According to this ESPN mock draft. Kelvin Banks from Texas, the offensive tackle, going to the Patriots at number 4. Don't mind that one at all. They've got Jacksonville at number 5, taking Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan. And at number 6, they've got the Raiders taking that Penn State edge rusher, Abdul Carter.
Interesting stuff. And, of course, we're going to be talking about the draft between now and May.
Oh, yeah.
But, boy, these head coaches and what's going to happen. And again, so does Jerry make this announcement? I can see this happening in the middle of, I don't know, Saturday or Sunday, right in the middle of the playoff games. I mean, that would be typical Jerry. We're either going to keep him or we're not, and Cowboys will be overshadow everything else.
Yeah, well, no matter what the Cowboys are going to do, they're going to overshadow. You look at Jerry's typical timeline, and I say typical. I mean, Jason Garrett was there for so long, so you kind of look at that one. That was the only one that you could say got to the end of the year and decided to move on because Chan Gailey and Dave Campo, Wade Phillips got fired middle of the season. So you think about the normal Cowboy routine. Players yesterday had their exit meetings. Some of those exit meetings will continue today. And then Mike McCarthy, as far as meeting with the players, that part should all be done by the end of today. Then you meet with all the coaches on Wednesday. So at some point, Wednesday, Thursday, you expect there to be the meeting with McCarthy and the Joneses. Now again, Dallas does things different. So I guess he could have a meeting with Mike Zimmer before Mike McCarthy. He could have a meeting with Bones Fossil before then. But I would expect the first, let's evaluate the coaches from the owner, starting with Mike McCarthy, would probably be either later this afternoon or tomorrow morning, once all the players have completed their exit interviews and physicals.
Going to be interesting. That's for sure. I think most of the players are gone, right? So I would think those meetings would begin today with the coaching staff. Most of the players were there yesterday and talked and
locker clean out, final team meeting. The way I understand how it works in Dallas is the star players go first, and however long those meetings last, they last. And then so some of those other guys, they might have to come in on Tuesday to finish their exit meetings. And in those exit meetings, you kind of get your homework for the offseason and the attaboys and the work on this,
work on that. Well, so who's conducting the exit meetings then?
Mike McCarthy.
Well, he doesn't know if he's going to be the coach.
He's still under contract. That's his job.
Jeez,
and Jason Garrett did the same thing.
I mean, that just sounds dumb.
Well, no, Jason Garrett did the same thing. He even came on the Blitz shortly after and talked about, I did all the exit meetings as if I was coming back, and I wasn't, and I left the folder for the new guy.
Nice.
I mean, that's what you do. You conduct the exit meetings, and all the position coaches and the head coaches, they meet. Now, Micah Parsons did his exit yesterday because star player go first, get that guy on vacation. Although apparently he's not leaving town. He did talk about his conversation with Jerry Jones.
It's all going to start just the roots of obviously where do we see us going? How can we become, contenders? How do we bounce back from this year? what are the plans? Those are the type of things that I would ask. And then, I hope he asks me things too, But I would say Jerry's always been so great to me in every aspect. From sitting with him at the Super Bowl, I kind of already knew what the plan was, how I expected, and, what his mission was. Now it's a new year, so it's going to be a great, talk to the guy that kind of believed in me first to see what the mission is and how we're going to accomplish and really make us happy and make the fans happy.
Well, I don't want to relive history, but he didn't really want you at first, Micah. He wanted a cornerback, and both cornerbacks were gone, and you were there, and he took you. So having said that, we'll put that in the past. It's absolutely factual, though. It's absolutely factual.
Wow.
Micah Parsons fell to the Cowboys accidentally, and they got lucky as hell with him.
I mean, they did trade back to get him.
There were two corners there that they wanted.
That's true.
Yes.
But then they liked Micah, but they needed a corner. Those were gone. They traded back, and they got Micah. I mean, it's still good.
All right. Well, I don't want to let facts get in the way of a good story there, Micah, but that's what happened. Jerry loves you now.
Oh, yes, that he does.
And they're going to the game Friday night. That's where they'll have this big conversation, we understand. They're going to the Texas-Ohio State game. They're at the Cotton Bowl at Jerry World on Friday night, and they're going to have a nice conversation.
Now, I find that a little odd.
Really?
I do. Because Micah Parsons is on vacation, right? He doesn't have a playoff game to get ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing Thursday night in the Orange Bowl? Penn State and Notre Dame.
Thursday night, sure.
If I'm Micah Parsons, am I not getting to Miami to watch my alma mater play in the semifinals against Notre Dame?
Maybe he is.
And then fly him back?
I don't know.
Have you seen the forecast in Dallas?
I don't think – I mean, Micah he skipped out on his last year at Penn State.
But I saw Trey Lance and Hunter Lupke standing on the North Dakota State sidelines yesterday watching their alma mater play in the national championship game. Trey's little brother, wide receiver, had a hell of a game, by the way. I'm surprised he's not going to Miami. But obviously, sitting next to Jerry at the Cotton Bowl might be a little bit more important, knowing that I want to be the highest paid defensive player. He also talked yesterday about Mike McCarthy and Mike McCarthy's future in Dallas.
He's definitely made an impact, and it's definitely challenging because, anytime you lose your starting quarterback, a Pro Bowl or All-Pro player, it's the most challenging part. But for what he's done, putting 20 points on the board, so we got to be better, you got to play better defense. That's where I take accountability at. So, they gave us 20. That should be all they need to do. So, I appreciate Mike and for everything he's done for me and the program. This was our last ride because he's always been a great man, a great father, a great testament of faith since he's been here. So, I appreciate him.
Everything's true there. I didn't hear a ringing endorsement, though. It's just that Mike McCarthy's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no way. I hope he's back. Jerry, bring him back. Do this. He's a great guy. Nice father figure. Been good to me. Christian guy.
It's so hard to figure out. You listen to Jerry, you listen to Steven, you listen to Mike the last month, and you kind of feel like he's coming back. You see Mike McCarthy at the end of that game, standing at the door of the locker room and giving a hug to everybody walking in that locker room. In fact, there was a line. Everybody wanted to shake hands and give him a hug as they were going into the locker room. Every player, every staff member, which I thought was kind of odd. There's other times to do that. So that almost looked like, yeah, he's already been told, pack your stuff on your way out. Leave the key card in your locker. Because once you close that door behind you, it won't reopen. And then you have that. You hear that from Micah, who a couple of weeks ago was trying to endorse or sounding like but again, he's still my coach. Whether it was McCarthy or Zimmer, I mean, he seemingly indicated he wanted them both back. And he apparently has so much influence with Jerry. If Micah wants it, he should get it, right?
Well, maybe that's part of the conversation Friday night at the Texas-Ohio State game. Who knows what they're going to talk about and what they do. But I think Micah, what he did say that I think is great, he's going to ask the question, where are we going? I mean, if I'm Micah Parsons, I want to know what the direction is. Tell me what direction you're going in. How are we going to improve this team and do it in a timely fashion? I like what he's saying there, and hopefully Jerry will answer him. But to me, that's the biggest concern. Even if I'm about to get paid, I don't know, I guess you could be on a bad team and still be the highest paid defensive player or non-quarterback in the league, but I wouldn't want to know because Micah wants to win.
You know, Micah has every right to ask that question as he's about to negotiate a new deal and a long-term extension. And if Micah making a business decision, while he says he wants to be a Cowboy for life, if we're going to suck for the next 5 years, you look at a guy like Max Crosby who thought they were going to do all these great things with the Raiders, and look where they are now.
Yeah.
So I think Micah has every right to want to know from Jerry what the plan is, because I know I'm a part of the future, but if I'm going to be a part of this future, I want to win. And if I don't think your plan is about winning, then I'm out.
And I'll follow Mike
sign.
McCarthy to Chicago.
It's a possibility.
Who knows?
It's a possibility.
So much fun.
Crazy, crazy. Thursday, Friday, 2 great nights of college football, the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. Both games will be live right here on 94.1, brought to you by Smoky Moe's Barbecue, Ewald Kubota, and the Break Room Bar in Live Oak. I think both those games get underway Thursday and Friday, respectively, at 6:30 here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're listening to The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
South Texas. Get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey guys, it's AJ from the Morning Huddle. Between us, when you hit a certain age, things start to feel a little off, right? You're tired all the time, your energy's low, maybe even your drive isn't what it used to be. And a lot of that comes down to testosterone, and trust me, it can happen to the best of us. That's where Game Day Men's Health comes in. They know how we feel, and they make it easy. Game Day Men's Health is over there on Bassey Road, across from the quarry. Their office has a relaxed man cave vibe, and they've built a 3-step process that's quick and designed just for us. First, get your T levels checked. Free testosterone test at their in-house lab. Then, you meet with a licensed provider to create a customized plan. And finally, you'll get those fast weekly treatments. After a month, you're going to notice a difference. More energy, better mood, and a kick in your libido. Don't settle. Be the best version of yourself. Call Game Day Men's Health, 210-900-3691. That's 210-900-3691. Feel better, be better at Game Day.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
The Gomez Law Firm has been San Antonio's trusted law firm for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us today. Jose, tell us about the cases you all specialize in.
We do ride-sharing cases. We do 18-wheeler cases, work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, you need to visit joegomezlaw.com. Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app?
we thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Las Vegas Raiders have fired head coach Antonio Pierce after just 1 year there in Las Vegas. Pierce was 4-13 this season. The Los Angeles Chargers have signed former Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott for their playoff run. That all begins this Saturday in Houston against the Texans. And the Spurs, well, they were awful in the fourth quarter. They blew a 19-point lead against the Bulls in Chicago. Back in action tomorrow in Milwaukee.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. SynergenicsHealth.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Unless you're Antonio Pierce.
For some of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a happy Tuesday. Antonio Pierce fired by the Las Vegas Raiders. They keep their general manager, though.
Odd.
It's always odd when you see these teams firing head coaches or general managers and not the other. But we'll see. But apparently the general manager of the Raiders was hired after Antonio Pierce was named as the head coach.
In the Twitter is all about the Tom Brady-Vrabel connections. In fact, they thought it was going to happen last year. Remember, Pierce was the interim coach, then got the full-time gig, but last 1 year as the full-time guy, and now he is out. Don't sleep on Vrabel to the Raiders, thinking it's a slam dunk that he's going to New England. That guy, granted, Mike Vrabel probably is the hottest former head coach out there as far as the name goes. Ben Johnson will be the hottest name amongst coordinators looking for their first head coaching job. But I think Vrabel could fit in every one of these openings that are out there. But when you look at the relationships, boy, New England, but the Raiders certainly have all that there.
Well, they do. I mean, and they need a quarterback, that's for sure. They don't have that guy. So they'll be looking for that. So he'd start over with a new quarterback. So we'll see what happens there. But the Titans should have never fired Mike Vrabel.
Sure.
I mean, that was a mistake on their part. So yeah, the guy is he's a guy that's going to come in and change the culture of any team that he is employed by, and he should be the hottest topic right now. So we'll see. You think Patriots or Raiders at this point in time for Vrabel, unless somebody just overwhelms him with some kind of fantastic offer.
You mean not an incentive-laden deal?
Not an incentive-laden deal. Don't think that's happening.
Cowboys are out?
Yeah, they're out.
Too much competition for that gig?
I think everybody's out when it comes to the Cowboys if that's what Jerry's going to do.
Mm-hmm. This version of the Headline Blitz is going to be very, very interesting.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
We're going to learn some words here. I know, Joe, you sent me the link on this one. I haven't read it yet, so you're going to have to explain what an OnlyFans sex giantess says men want. First off, what is a sex giantess?
Well, she's a big girl, okay? And by big, I mean tall. She's like 6 foot something, right? And apparently there are short dudes that are very attracted to that, and they want to live in her cleavage and her hiney. That's exactly what she says. She says men want to be kept in her bum.
What? As a tall 5'7" guy, I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Well, I mean,
but she's got to be more than 6 something. I mean, I've not heard sex giantess as a term before.
Nor have I. I'm telling you, this.
Well, you got to research for the show.
This OnlyFans thing is interesting, and so I see these things, and it's just like, yeah, she's 6'1", and peeling back the curtain on the kinky stuff her clients are into, according to this article.
Is there a Google image on this chick?
There is. Well, it's if you go to the story, you'll see her. But 6'1", I mean, she's not.
No, that's not what I would call a giantess.
Well, how many women are 6'1"?
A lot.
There are.
Yes.
I don't know any women that are 6'1".
Sure you do.
They play in the WNBA, perhaps.
No, that 6'4", 6'5", 6'6".
Really?
That's where I would.
Dude, I honestly have never met a
My
female.
niece is like 6'1".
Is she?
Yeah, she'll tell you 5'11", but when
she's 5'11".
she played basketball, she was listed at 6'1".
Well, okay, there's one.
Yeah. And I look at her
she's
friends
got a future at OnlyFans. Short guys
her
might want
husband would like a word.
They might want to live in her bum. There's apparently, according to this article, there's a thirst out there for giant naked.
Thirst.
Yes, that's yes, for giant naked women to hold you in their bums like a kangaroo.
There's some weird people out there.
I'm telling you, it's a great country, is it not? I don't know. I mean, she's not unattractive, but I mean, she's all right. And
for a small fee.
Well, her bum doesn't look like anything special. It certainly doesn't look like a kangaroo pouch. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, is that like a fantasy? It's like, oh, hey, I want to live in your crotch for a while. I mean, I don't know.
Well, define a while.
Well,
I mean, the way you say that.
Yeah. Look, I don't know, but there's
2 minutes.
There's some crazy stuff happening on OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm. Not just on OnlyFans. Body cam footage from cops can be entertaining, to say the least. And when you know some cops and you hear some of their stories, sometimes you call BS on it. As an old Navy guy, there's a saying out there, only a sailor will believe in other sailor stories, because things that happen in other countries and ports of call and stuff like that, you think, yeah, and unless you've been there, right? Same can be said for cops and their body cam footage.
Yeah.
For example, a Hooters waitress that was flirting with a cop during her DWI arrest.
Hey, you're the one taking me home.
Sure. Okay,
I got a laugh out of him.
I've been laughing the whole time.
Hey, I got a laugh out of him. Hey, he's taking me home. He's taking me home.
Right.
First one laugh folds.
Deal.
First one laugh folds.
Okay. Can you put your feet together?
Put my feet together.
And your hands on your side.
Whatever you say, Daddy.
Okay.
Daddy.
Now before
put my hand on my hip.
No, I was grabbing my flashlight.
Whatever you want, Daddy.
Okay. Well, that's Daddy. That's Daddy. Come on, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, look, and there are pictures of this Hooters waitress. And
there's video. We saw it.
She's very attractive. That doesn't do her justice. But there were a lot of other pictures there, because when she gets arrested there for being extremely intoxicated, I don't think there's any question about this. She can't even talk except Daddy. But there are other pictures. She's very attractive, so she probably thought this cop, hey, if, we hop in the back of your cruiser there, maybe we can make this go away.
Yeah, there was a comment about handcuffs that another use. And she kept, if you're watching the video, because she was wearing a hoodie, but she kept trying to lift up to show her Hooters shirt.
Yeah.
Because apparently she just got off work.
She just got off work. What the hell did they do? I think she stuck around for a while.
All right, sure. But she was still in uniform, if you will.
Yeah.
She would not do well in North Korea, although most of us probably would not do well in North Korea. Apparently over there, they have banned a lot of things that are influenced by the Western civilization. They have banned jeans, leather jackets, microwaves, Bibles, designer shoes, sports cars, weed,
sports cars,
iPhones, slang, porn, K-pop, YouTube, and hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
That's where I draw the line. Hot dogs.
Oh,
Come
that's
on.
where you draw the line?
That's where I draw the line.
That's where you draw the line.
Now, the one thing you mentioned in there was porn.
Yes.
Now, we're hearing stories that they don't even have internet or access to the internet in North Korea.
Yep.
We did a story the other day about them going to Russia, and all of a sudden they're exposed to the internet and
porn. Yeah, soldiers that are training in Russia discovered porn.
Yes, and apparently we're very distracted by said porn.
You know, North Korea is so weird because you read these stories and you believe them because we have no idea if they're true, right? You have no idea how true these are. But then you wonder, why would anybody stay there if you have any idea of what the rest of the world is like?
Well, I don't think they have a choice but to stay there. That's the problem, and you can't get out. Like if you are born in North Korea, it's very difficult to do, I would assume.
I don't know. They're a dictator. A lot of things you can ban, but dude, hot dogs?
He looks like he eats a few hot dogs. You kidding me?
Seymour Wiener.
Dude, that dude is he's not exactly, Flacco. This guy's he's not skinny.
Wow.
He's a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they're eating over there, but he's sneaking some cheeseburgers and chili dogs.
Well, but of all things, like, it's 2025 and you're banning microwaves. So does that tell you that at one point they had microwaves and decided we can't have those anymore? At one point you could have jeans, but now you can't. You could have a sports car, but now you can't. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they said here in the United States, no more microwaves? And they went and they found every microwave in every office building and every home and every apartment, and they took those away.
No, I couldn't. There'd be a riot.
Well, of course there would be, but honestly, could you imagine life without a microwave?
No.
In 2025.
I cannot.
So the fact that it makes the ban list for the new year, according to this, does that mean they've had microwaves and decided, you know what? No.
Maybe somebody smuggled one in. And it caught on, and now you can't have those.
So at one point you could get hot dogs, and now you can't?
I see that baffles me, because how do you get hot dogs in North Korea? I mean, it makes no sense. And I heard the boys this morning on the Morning Huddle talking about people that get divorced now in North Korea have to go to a labor camp for 6 months.
How much do you really want to get away from her?
Exactly.
6 months hard labor?
I don't know. I think I would have done that.
First one or second?
Second. Yeah, it would. It might have been worth it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it didn't have to do that. So, yeah.
It's so. It is just so bizarre. It is so bizarre.
It's a different world there, though. When you get dictators and they kill people for jaywalking, for goodness sake.
Some of the things, according to this article, that join the list of, like, hot dogs joins a long list of very regular things that are banned in North Korea. Pro-Western things like Coca-Cola, high heels, sanitary pads, hot showers, naming anyone Kim, moving, referring to the country as North Korea, not voting, not bowing, not serving in the military, bikinis, condoms. Those are all things that have been, like, hot dogs have been added to that list. Like in 2025, he decided hot dogs are out, which tells me at one point hot dogs are in. And partly because apparently South Koreans, they have them, and they use hot dogs. There's a dish, as I'm reading further in this, and so somehow in North Korea they caught wind of this, and They started, no, you can't have hot dogs.
Well, I think it's because it's Americanized.
And Western, yeah.
And they hate America.
Yeah.
So, bikinis, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and condoms.
Well, okay. How the hell are they going to know? They look in your trash? You flush it down the toilet? Hey, Jane over there hadn't been pregnant a long time. That dude must be using condoms.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I other than Dennis Rodman, I don't know anybody that's actually ever been over there.
No, I don't know of anybody. And
I know a lot of people that's been to South Korea, military.
Well, sure. Well, South Korea is...
But not North Korea.
Much different than North Korea.
Go to TripAdvisor and find out how it's like. What's there to do there?
I have no desire to go there.
You wouldn't want to just go for like if you could go to North Korea without penalty, without, with some sort of safeguards that you were going to be able to travel the country just to see, wouldn't you go?
No.
Do you think I'm an idiot?
I don't. That's not on the bucket list.
North Korea's
no.
not, huh?
I might have a craving for a hot dog.
Might
see somebody and, well, you'd want a condom.
Might.
It could be.
Your wife's on line 3.
In a bikini.
While having a Coca-Cola?
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. No, over there you can't have a Coke and a smile. Not allowed.
Can't put your hot dogs in a microwave either.
You should never put your hot dogs in a microwave.
Oh, dude, I do that. You don't do that?
No.
If you need a quickie dog.
We all wish we could see more wiener.
Boil water at that point.
Dude, come on. That takes too long. You just pop it in the microwave for 30 seconds. You're golden. I wouldn't do well. Oh, my goodness.
Boil water.
Uh-huh.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. That's it. Boom.
You must be getting those really thin Oscar Mayer ones.
No, even the ones I get at Tri-County, you pop them in there for about 30 seconds. You don't want to cook them too long because if you microwave them too long, they're nasty. So you got to be careful.
They're going to split. They're going to blow. I mean,
right.
But I don't know. Microwave a hot dog.
I'm just saying if you're in a bind.
What kind of a bind can you be in?
Well, if I'm like in a rush to get somewhere and I need a dog, pop in the microwave. I'm walking out the door with it.
Yeah, heat your buns too.
Sure do.
Oh man. Spurs could have used a microwave in the fourth quarter last night because their offense was ice cold.
That was awful.
Pissed me off. Let's talk about it. Coming up, you're on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Injuries happen. When they do, you can skip the ER and get straight to an OrthoNow Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. OrthoNow provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocation, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
It's showtime. Let's do it. It's fun time. Here we go.
South Texas home of the 12-team college football playoff is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. All of the matchups are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smokey Mo's Barbecue. Hear every game on South Texas' first and only FM sports station. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks. The unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at H-E-B.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. Offer ends soon. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be-in-the-room-with-real-people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer. Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Time to eat crow. We both said yesterday, winnable, easy game for the San Antonio Spurs. And what did they do? They dominated for 3 quarters and then completely wet the bed and lost to the Chicago Bulls.
Second game in a row, they haven't played well in the fourth quarter. And Wemby included, by the way. And I know Wemby's stat line was fantastic, but in the fourth quarter, it was non-existent. So I don't know what's going on with this team, but that fourth quarter was just a disaster.
It was. Fourth quarter, when you look at what the Spurs did not do, one, they were outscored 32-15. Zach LaVine got hot, but the Spurs were ice cold. Chris Paul, he played great in the fourth quarter, and I was all ready to tweet, man, that's the Chris Paul effect. That they were going to win that game because Chris Paul was going to will them to that win. And you could tell, and what I appreciate about what I'm hearing out of that Spurs locker room now after losses like this is frustration.
Sooner or later, we're going to get tired of it. You know what I mean? So just down the stretch again, I got to go back and look at it and figure out what I could have done better. Probably got us better shots. But you know, it's tough.
But he sounds frustrated as hell.
He's frustrated.
Chris Paul, he is. Look, I mean, it's 2 games in a row. The fourth quarter's been bad, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening in that fourth quarter. And I'm like you. I'm sick and tired of hearing this. We got to learn how to win games.
Thankfully we didn't really hear that last night. You heard frustration again, Chris Paul. We got to figure out how to win these kind of games.
Yeah, we just got to figure out how to win these games because we work too hard, play too hard, and give ourselves an opportunity night in and night out that we got to find a way to win these games.
All right, so you hear that. Find a way to win these games from Chris Paul, the veteran of the group, the coach on the floor, if you will. Then you look at the young superstar in Wemby, and you talk about trying to figure out ways to win. Listen carefully to what Wemby says here, and let's try to interpret what he actually means.
I think teams adapt during the game, and maybe we don't. You know, we don't adapt enough. And but it's definitely something I'm gonna work on. You know, predicting the adjustments of the defense, because right now, I mean, for sure we need to have more than one plan. You know, 'cause they're gonna have more than one.
Interesting. And I don't know how you take that, Jason, but I take it as that's a shot at the head coach.
That's a shot at the head coach. We've got one plan and we don't adapt.
Yes.
I mean, and again, Wemby is smart enough and well-spoken enough that I can't say that, well, did he really mean it that way? I mean, and you can tell that guy is getting frustrated. That guy was frustrated last night and probably frustrated with his fourth quarter play where he was 0 for 4. And he got posterized in that game. But at the same time, you need more than one plan. You've got to adapt. It seems like, all right, this is what we do. Yeah, it didn't work. This is what we do. I mean, you look at what they're doing. They've got more than one plan. We don't. Is that a shot at the coaching staff? And whether it's the head coach or the staff, this is the Spurs plan, and if it's not working, we don't have anything else we can go to?
That's exactly what it sounded like he said right there. We've got one plan, and that one plan, if it's not working, we got nowhere else to go. That's coaching.
It's coaching, or is it because that's what the players can do? Because he talked about this is the level of maturity that this team has right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very frustrating. I mean, for sure we should right now we should have more wins. But we don't deserve more wins, you know, because this is where we're at right now, or this is our level, you know, our maturity, and we need to. And this one is a tough one for sure, but apparently we need those to, you know, to grow. And yeah, we got to do something. There's gonna be close games. There's gonna be games where we're up. I'm not worried about when we're down, you know. But there's gonna be games when we're up and we got to keep a lead. In the NBA, you know, it's hard, and games that are gonna be close and that we need to win.
Yeah, but the problem is, Wemby, the game wasn't close.
No,
you guys dominated the Bulls for 3 quarters. You had a 19-point lead at one time. You had a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you blew it. And I mean, that's just, I don't care what level of maturity you are. I don't care. You're an NBA basketball player. You don't blow 15-point leads to the Chicago Bulls.
You don't blow them, period. I mean, you just look at that, and again, if that were a one-off, all right, but it's not. And again, they went 1-3 on a 4-game road trip where they should have been 3-1, maybe even 4-0. This trip started off looking like, all right, you're going to get one in Chicago. And the way they played early, it was like, man, this is incredible, man. This is what we want to see. This is them. They took that Denver loss and they've turned it around, and they did that for 3 quarters.
Yep.
Not before they end up with the loss. You know, you hear little key words from Wemby, like apparently we're supposed to go through this, because sounds like he's tired of hearing that kind of crap from the coaches.
Well, so am I.
Well, I know, but I mean, Wemby can do something about it on the floor, you would think. Then you get Mitch Johnson talking about attention to detail.
I think the attention to detail and respect for some of the little things that went into what we got the lead, wavered, and then we had a fight on our hands. And so you have to fight the human nature of being complacent or happy with yourselves when things are going well in the middle of a game. And you felt the game flip. It flipped. And I think that lack of respect at times for some of the details played a part.
Well, so while Wemby's calling out the coaching staff, it sounded like Mitch Johnson's calling out the players, saying they've got to play hard regardless of the score, and they just simply coasted in the fourth quarter. That's how I translate what he just said.
To me, that's coaching. Attention to detail, that's coaching. And coaching them before the game, during the game, and after the game. When you hear a coach talking about attention to detail and respect for the game, and you got Wemby talking about maturity and only having one plan, the whole group, coaches, players, everybody's involved in there, and you got CP3 that just is about as frustrated as I've heard him as a San Antonio Spur. And, maybe a loss like that, would you be at all surprised if you heard about a team meeting before their game against Milwaukee? I mean, but something needs to change. This team is better than what their record is showing, yet they're not. They feel like they should be further along than they are.
Well, they should be. They absolutely should be. I mean, at some point in time, I know skip steps. At some point in time, some of these players have been on this team for a while. Right? I mean, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan. I mean, at some point in time, what's the learning curve for this basketball team? And that's what's so frustrating. And look, I get it. What are they, 500 right now? 18-18, which is it's fine. And it's great. And they're playing in a very tough Western Conference. But when you've got a team that blew a lead to Denver at home, and then you blow a lead in Chicago, that can't happen. This team should be much further along than it is, and I blame everybody. And I know Wemby had a great stat line, but you can't disappear if you're the superstar in the fourth quarter. And he's done that 2 games in a row now.
Looking at some of the comments on YouTube, they need some nasty. They need something. It almost feels like a lack of accountability when guys aren't paying attention to the little things. And some of you are asking about any updates on Pop. We haven't heard anything you haven't heard. So, no, not really. And the fact is, at the end of the year, if they're a 500 team, I think we'd be, all saying the same thing. We thought they'd be about a 500 team, maybe a little under 500 at the beginning of the year. The reality is what we've seen them do on the basketball court, they should be about 4 or 5 games over 500 right now with ones they let get away, which throughout a typical NBA season, good teams are going to let 4 or 5 get away. This Spurs team can't afford to let 4 or 5 games get away. I mean, they were, the 8 seed yesterday? That dropped them down to, 10, 11 after last night's games? I didn't see the West Coast games and look at the standings today. It's too early to start looking at standings on a daily basis for me. But it's frustrating as hell because right now this team is playing well enough at times where they could be maybe a 5th seed. Yet exceeding expectations. Instead, they're, while at 500, below expectation with what we've seen on the floor.
And now they've got a trip to Milwaukee, and then they've got to go see LeBron and the Lakers after that. 2 games that are not going to be easy to win. And so you get an opportunity to win a game in Chicago to start the road trip. You got to take advantage of that. And I've been tired of this for a long time. I mean, it's time to start winning, and I'm sick of the excuses. We just got to learn how to win. Well, learn then. Learn. I mean, my God, how long does it take? And you say it's early in the season. Hell, Jason, they've played damn near 40 games. The season's almost halfway over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so it's not that early anymore. It's time to get it in gear, and your good players have to show up in the fourth quarter. And I'm talking about Wemby. I'm talking about Vassell. I'm talking about Jeremy Sohan. Those are the guys that have to show up if that's your foundation, and they're not doing it when it's crunch time. And I'm sick of the excuses now. This team should be better than they are. Their record should be better than it is. And you got to start winning ball games when you have an opportunity. You certainly can't blow 15-point leads in the fourth quarter.
Those are brutal, brutal losses. The Houston Texans, they start the playoffs this week in the Texans time slot. We'll talk about it with our good friend Indy Kalu. He joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, because of course you do. You know, the best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747. Or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, the clock continues to tick. Does Mike still have a job? We'll catch you up.
And we'll preview Spurs Bucks as the Spurs try to get off the schneid. All that and more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back, I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Flight by Yuengling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass. Raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Howdy.
Howdy. Say howdy to our good friend Indy Kalu joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Indy, before we get to talking about the Texans playoff game this week, odd question for you because I know you're a foodie. Do you microwave your hot dogs?
No, you have to boil hot dogs.
Just boil them. See, we had a poll up because, Indy, and truth be told, I mean, sometimes in a hurry, you pop the dog in a microwave for 30 seconds and you're on your way. So we had a poll on our YouTube page, and it was 50-50.
Yeah, well, one, to me, a hot dog's not a meal you eat on the run. Well, if you're in a hurry, and I say meal like it's some kind of healthy delicacy, but
have you seen
to
us?
me, it's something. to me, hot dogs are something you eat when there's a sporting event going on, or if you're about to sit down on the lazy boy watch a movie. I will say this, for whatever reason, and I can't simulate it or mirror it. Hot dogs at a high school football game are the best. I don't know what the heck they do in those concession stands, but every time I buy hot dogs, boil them, and try to get that same feeling, it's just something about high school football games getting hot dogs there that are best. But I do believe if time permits, you definitely have to boil it.
Yeah, boil it, throw it on the grill, but microwave, I mean, desperate situation. Although for me, for high school football, it's all about the Frito pie because at home, at home, you cannot simulate those dogs floating in hot dog water for hours before it ends up in your gullet.
That you know what? The Frito pie is strong. That's another strong one.
Yeah.
Why does the best food have to be so bad for you? It's not fair.
I don't know. I guess that's the way that it is, right? I mean,
there's some of us that don't really give a damn.
Yeah.
None of us do until we get our foot chopped off because of diabetes. But look, I don't care right now, but at some point I'm going to be like, God, dog, I should have passed last week.
Yeah, but as long as you enjoyed things while you had 2 feet, man, that live as much as you can now.
Amen, brother.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting. The Houston Texans get the Texans time slot when it comes to the playoffs. Once again, the first playoff game to kick off the weekend. It's the NFL saying, let's get this one out of the way. As a former player, as a Texan ambassador, does it ever piss you off that your playoff games are always that first Saturday afternoon, never prime time, never on Sunday?
Actually, it doesn't, because I'm a realist. I mean, coming into this playoff season, and I'm just specifically talking about this year. I mean, from the outside looking in, the Texans kind of limped into the playoffs. They suffered an embarrassing loss against the Ravens. They're playing a Charger team that, you know, Justin Herbert is a very, very good quarterback. I don't know what it is about the Chargers, but there's not that much pizzazz to them. So if I look at it globally, if I look at it like a businessman, if I was running the NFL, yeah, I don't know what other matchup is, less exciting than the Chargers Texans. So I definitely could see it, especially this year.
When you look at it, and I think you just said it, ND, when you look at this game and the Texans kind of limped into this thing, I mean, how much confidence is there that the Texans can get by the Chargers Saturday?
Now, I know they played one of the worst teams in the NFL, but I think there's some confidence with the way the Texans had that first drive against the Tennessee Titans. Yes, and again, I'll keep saying that it had a preseason feel to it, but when it was all said and done, C.J. Stroud and the starting offense went down the field on a good Titan defense. Now, I don't know how motivated they were out there, what they were playing for, but they were able to score a touchdown. Then you put the backups in. So with that being said, Joe, I think there's like this sense, at least in the locker room, that they feel like they're getting their swag back and they're going to play much better than they did against Baltimore. So as a fan, I'm excited because I finally saw something positive, but I'm still a realist. But I would not be overly surprised if we see a game where Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter have 2 sacks apiece, Joe Mixon rushes for over 80 yards, C.J. Stroud looks like the C.J. Stroud from last year, and Nico Collins has over 100 yards receiving. If that happens, why not the Texans?
Andy Kalu joining us here on the Blitz, member of the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame, Texans legend, Texans ambassador. From a player standpoint, when you were playing, there wasn't the social media, but there was the 24-hour TV and the talking shows and that sort of stuff. The fact that Rex Ryan, who interviewed today to be the Jets head coach, said on TV the other day, the Chargers basically get a bye against the Texans. D'Amico answered the question like everybody has an opinion. He answered it the way you'd expect a head coach to answer it. As a player in the locker room, do you see that, and does that motivate you? Does that piss you off as a player?
100%. Yeah, some players will say, oh, we don't listen to that. We block that out. When you have a former successful football head coach who's now a talking head and may potentially be a head coach again, in the near future, say that playing you is a bye week, it better bother you. It better get your stinger up a little more. Like, I think the 99.9% of the guys who heard that, they're going to store that away in the back of their mind and remember that when the ball goes out there and the Chargers come to town. And not only that, I just found out today, I'm sure y'all heard it during y'all's prep, they said Justin Herbert made mention that he was watching film or doing some kind of prep, and he heard his team cheer, and they were cheering because they found out they were going to play the Texans in the first round. Like, that's one of the worst. That's even worse than the Rex Ryan quote.
Wow.
Like, the fact that the team that's coming to play you was like, ooh, thank God we don't have to play the Ravens. We get to play the Texans. So between that and what Rex Ryan said, it absolutely should be bulletin board material. If I'm D'Amico, and D'Amico doesn't need my opinion because he's done a great job these last 2 years, but if I was the head coach, and you know how guys practice with speakers and music, I'm having whatever Rex Ryan said on loop, and I'll even put some music behind it, but I'm just pumping that in like you're a bye week. Like, that's them fighting words, as we like to say.
That's awesome. And not to mention the fact, I would think, Indy, when it's been a long season, obviously some ups and downs for every team that is going into the postseason. Do you get an extra charge, though, this time of year if you're in the playoffs? Is it kind of almost like a fresh start?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even from high school, when I was playing at John Marshall High School, as soon as the playoffs starts, from high school to now in college that they have playoffs into the pros, we always said 0-0, and that means your record is 0-0. So whether you were like the Kansas City Chiefs and going in there with a 15-2 or 16-1 record, or the Houston Texans, limping in with a 10-7, could have been a 9-8 record. It doesn't matter. The slate is wiped clean, and it's an entirely new season. So you're absolutely excited. You as a player, and again, when you're a player, you're a little bit detached from reality in a good way. But if you're the lowest seed in the playoffs, you're thinking of yourself in the same tier as the highest seed. You're like, we're in the playoffs. Anything can happen. We all refer back to the New York Giants with Eli Manning when they made the playoffs. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they were 8-8, and they had to play every game on the road, and they still ended up winning the Super Bowl. Like, every team thinks that could be their story.
And again, mentally, and things start going your way, anything can happen, once you get in to the tournament, as they say. So, Indy, you look at this Texans team and what they've done, the way the Chargers have played this year, especially as of late, under their first-year head coach and Coach Harbaugh. What does Houston have to do on Saturday in the Texans time slot to actually get a win and play next week in a better time slot?
Their stars have to star, and they can't have the silly penalties, even against the Tennessee Titans. One of your best, if not your best offensive player, I'll say one of your best offensive players, and Laramie Tunsil has back-to-back offsides, false starts penalties. You just can't have that. You can't make those type of mistakes at home, and you have to make the big plays. I always say in the playoffs, the PBUs have to be INTs, and the INTs return for 10 yards has to be returned for a 6 points. You have to have those big-time explosive plays to beat a team like the Chargers, because they're riding high. They've had multiple games where, their win streak is sitting at 3 or 4. They have all the confidence in the world. And Coach Harbaugh, not only is he a great coach, I mean, he's a great motivator. Like, he knows what to do to kind of get the guys going. He knows what to say to get the guys going. So, this is a team that I think you have to get up early and kind of remind them that they're the lower seed, remind them that they're not supposed to beat you early, because they're front runners. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but if they get up on you early, they're going to start to believe, oh, man, we can do this. This is why we cheered when we found out we were playing the Houston Texans. So you want to get them down, and you get them down early.
I got to ask you, Indy, because we talked about this yesterday. Does it irritate you and other Houston Texan fans to see the Titans out there in the Houston Oiler uniforms?
I'm going to answer that question, but you know what really irritates me? I just said something, and I thought about it, and I was like, that's stupid-ass radio talk. You want to get them down, you want to get them down early. Like there's a scenario where I'm like, hey, Joe, let's get them down, but not the first quarter. Let's do it in the third quarter. So I apologize for saying that, but my point is you want to take that confidence away from them and not let it be close. Now, to answer your question, something else that annoys me besides myself, I laugh. You know what? And for those that don't know, it really bothers the Houston fan base when the Tennessee Titans have the Oilers uniform on. In the big scheme of things, when I look at what's going on in the world, I have to laugh. Like, I'm not annoyed. I'm not pounding my fist like some other people on air here in Houston. I kind of chuckle because, to me, it's letting me know that billionaires they have a sense of humor. I'm just when I was watching that game, and I was like, wow, those uniforms look really good on the Tennessee Titans. I'm believing that the Adams family, or I don't know who's running the Tennessee Titans right now. I believe it's his daughter.
Yeah, Amy.
I'm sure she's sitting back giggling, like, yeah, I'm poking this at the Houston fan base. But there are some people here, people that I know and I've been on a podcast with, that dang near want to shoot somebody because of the Oiler uniform. So it annoys me in a sports sense, but I'm not going to get my panties all in a bunch because they're wearing the Oiler logo. You know why they're doing it. It's to upset the Houston fan base. And when you start tweeting things out and saying how this is injustice, that's exactly the response that they want.
It is, although, I mean, you could say sense of humor, or you could say billionaire pettiness at its finest, either way. But also I'm hearing you didn't grow up, as an Oiler fan here in San Antonio, and so you don't have that same affection towards that logo, like a James Pledger or a Joe Reinagle, who is a Titans fan because he was an Oiler fan and they moved. He went with them.
I was an Oiler fan. Warren Moon was, obviously a guy we looked up to, so I was a huge Oiler fan. And I don't know if y'all remember this, back in the day, they had training camp in Trinity. So that was the only time, because I never went to an NFL game until I played in one. So that was the only time I saw NFL players up close. Remember, I took the VIA bus, and I was young, too, to go watch them train at Trinity, and that was like the coolest thing in the world for me. So I was a big Oiler fan, but at the same time, I understand how it works. I feel more upset for the legends of the Oilers because they don't have a real home. Like Earl Campbell in Houston is a living legend when it comes to football. When they honor him in Tennessee, they know the Tyler Rose, they know he's Earl Campbell, but it's kind of like, that old black dude who used to run real hard. But in Houston, it's like, man, that's Earl Campbell. Guys are going to bring up examples of his plays. So I feel more set for Bruce Matthews. To me, I like the Peyton Manning and his family, but the Matthews family, that's the first family of football. And I don't think Tennessee truly appreciates the Matthew clan like city of Houston. So I the Love You Blue Days with Bump Phillips, I feel like they don't really have a true home. So it sucks for them, but if they want to wear the Oilers stuff, more power to them.
It's all politics, ND.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those days. The mayor and Bud Adams didn't see eye to eye, and Bud said he's taking his toys and leaving.
Yeah, he wanted if I'm not mistaken, he wanted a new stadium.
Exactly.
And he wanted us working folk to pay for it. And they're like, no, you pay for it. You have the money. So he said, okay, I'm going to go to Tennessee.
And then the working folk, they bought one for Bob McNair.
Exactly.
So, they realized, because I was in college when the Oilers left to Tennessee, and I'll tell you what, you felt it. You felt not having NFL football in Houston. This is the great state of Texas. To me, it still bothers me that California and the state of New York, they have more NFL teams than the state of Texas. There's no reason, and I'm not being biased because I'm from, San Antonio. There's absolutely no reason why San Antonio shouldn't have an NFL team. It just, to this day, you can't convince me otherwise.
I agree with that.
100%. 100%. ND, real quick, Houston going to win on Saturday?
Yeah, I do believe it. And I'm not just saying, I've told you when I thought they were going to lose. I actually feel like this is going to be the game where everything comes back together, like when they beat the Bills earlier in the season and your stars make plays. So I have the Texans winning by 7.
By 7?
7.
By 7.
Wow. They're 3-point dogs. You know that, Indy, right?
I did not know that because I don't follow that stuff. But I do know every time someone tells me about I don't know what the line, I guess it's called, they're typically right. So that's not good. But yeah, I did not know that. But I still think the Texans win by touchdown.
I'm taking the Texans +3 then, Indy, just because of you.
Start the conversation with dogs, end it on dogs. The great Indy Kalu. Always fun catching up, my friend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, appreciate y'all. Y'all keep up the good work.
Appreciate it. That's good stuff. Indy Kalu on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. That Texans-Chargers game on Saturday afternoon will be live over on San Antonio's ESPN AM 1250, brought to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Good stuff.
That's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Glad you got a weird look on your face.
Well, he always has a weird look on his face.
No, but it was a weirder look. Like he was, I don't know. Huh? Oh. You want to hear Justin Herbert making fun of the Houston Texans?
I do, yes.
Did you get a chance to watch the end of the Steelers game yesterday?
No, kind of followed along. I was meeting and watching film, but I heard it in the other room, so I could tell that, good things were happening, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Good things were happening.
Mm-hmm.
So if they would have had to go to Baltimore, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
So of course they're celebrating.
Well, yeah, I would too.
Everybody was trying to either line up to play the Texans or the Steelers, and the best scenario would have been for the Texans to get the Steelers. It's funny how all that works, right?
It really is. But if I'm the Chargers, I'm just happy because they play in a dome, and I don't have to go to Baltimore where it's going to be cold as hell.
I know, and then you're going to hand Zeke the ball in short yardage situations.
Zeke.
Bolt up, Zeke. I think he's there to block. Talk about it coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. When you need an electrician, you know Hill Electric is available for both residential and commercial needs. I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my home through the years. They've added extra outlets in the garage, a spotlight over one of the grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. And whatever your project is, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price. Never a service charge, always free estimates. So whether it's at the office, a project at your house, call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or online, hill-electric.com.
Riding 410 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com. Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hi, I'm Manny Jr. from Rock's Discount Vitamins. If you're looking to build muscle, strength, and boost athletic performance, check out our huge selection of anabolic pro-hormones. These powerful supplements provide your body with essential nutrients for muscle growth, faster recovery, fat loss, and even improved bone health and libido. Visit one of our 12 San Antonio locations or go online at rocksdiscountvitamins.com to learn more. That's rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for your continued support. rocksdiscountvitamins.com.
If you've been busy this past holiday season, then it's time to finally focus on you. And that's where Macy's comes in. Come and treat yourself to something great, like rejuvenating skincare routines from Lancome, Estee Lauder, Clinique, Shiseido, Kiehl's, and more of your favorites. With so many great deals at Macy's, you'll be able to pick up a new cleanser and a new serum and a new moisturizer now during our Deals for Great Skin event. So, what are you waiting for? Refresh your routine today at Macy's. If you've been busy this past holiday season, then it's time to finally focus on you. And that's where Macy's comes in. Come and treat yourself to something great, like rejuvenating skincare routines from Lancome, Estee Lauder, Clinique, Shiseido, Kiehl's, and more of your favorites. With so many great deals at Macy's, you'll be able to pick up a new cleanser and a new serum and a new moisturizer now during our Deals for Great Skin event. So, what are you waiting for? Refresh your routine today at Macy's.
Let me ask you a question. Is your roof ready for anything? Well, Stevens Roofing, a locally owned company, has been serving our community for decades. Whether it's a commercial project or residential, or repairing your old roof, or maybe installing a new one, they've got you covered. And now Stevens offers solar. Stevens Solar Solutions can save you money and energy. Stevens Roofing, quality craftsmanship, solar solutions, and local expertise under one roof. Call 210-785-0994 or go to stevensroofing.net.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now, sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first. On your timeline, no waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades at no upfront cost. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first, sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's orchard.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, we had another coach fired in the NFL today. The Las Vegas Raiders have fired Coach Antonio Pierce after just 1 year. He was 4-13 this season. Mike McCarthy, well, he's still in limbo. Yeah, the Cowboys have not responded to the Chicago Bears' request to interview him, but that might not be the only team interested in McCarthy as head coach. Diana Rossini said the Saints could also look at McCarthy should he move on.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo
17. It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along here on 94.1. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. If you're listening on one of the gazillion apps, however you're listening, appreciate you tuning in.
Absolutely. Thank you. On a great Tuesday. A little chilly.
Little chilly. Yes.
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's not chilly. It's cold.
If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if you guys can see. Did Rob Thompson put this up there? Pledge, if you're watching on YouTube, is there a wide shot that will show this? I'm trying to figure out. Apparently not. So there's a couple of shelves behind me. We still have a couple of frames that are empty. Not sure what the hell's going on there, but whatever. But I noticed in a reflection there's a new football on the shelf behind me. So I just turned around and said, the hell did that come from?
Can you take that down?
I can. Hang on.
Hold on. We'll go. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's a Texas A&M football.
It is. All right.
But
now, we're proud home of the Texas A&M
Sure.
Aggies. Love the Aggies. Hook 'em horns. So I'm looking at this football and, Texas A&M. Pledge, can you put that on there? Right? But the part that is showing on camera that apparently can't be seen, the way our cameras are set up in here, is that. Is that close enough? Can you read that on the screen, Pledge? You want me to read that for you? You can read that. Two-time national champions, 1919 and 1939. Now, I don't know when this commemorative ball was produced, but it feels new, looks new. I mean, the beautiful stadium picture on the back end of it looks like fairly current.
Well, I think that's is that pre-renovations to Kyle Field? I think it's a little bit bigger than that now.
It might be.
Could be.
Did Rob find this in a closet and decided to bring it to work? Because what the hell is he going to do with it? I'm not really sure.
I'm not sure either. And if you're, happy about 1919 and 32?
39.
39.
39 says right here on the football.
Yeah. It's a long time ago.
I mean, I don't know many that remember that one. They might have been alive, but were they aware? Like, did they get the newspaper delivered in time to actually comprehend that A&M won a title in 1939?
Dude, my dad was only 9 years old at that time.
My dad wasn't born yet. He was born in 1940.
So there you go. I mean, my goodness.
But, I mean, there are people around that were probably around in 1939.
I'm thinking 1919, no, not so much.
I'm going to guess that one's no.
Yeah, that's out. So 39, perhaps. My father-in-law is still around. I don't know if he remembers the 1939 national championship for the Aggies.
I mean, you should go home and ask him.
Maybe so.
Or call him
I'd
later.
have to call him, yeah.
Call him.
He lives
He's
in
still
the great city of St. Louis.
He's got nothing else to do. They got like a foot and a half of snow on the ground. He's not leaving the house.
Yeah, they're
He'd be glad to get a phone call from
Probably
old
so.
Joey. Yeah. In all seriousness, I'm not trying to make fun of Aggies.
Yeah, you are.
No, well, maybe. Would you buy this?
No.
And display it proudly?
No. Would you?
No. But but somebody bought this. Somebody decided.
Well, you know who bought it.
No, Rob wouldn't buy it. It was gifted to him.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to guess this was a gift to Rob.
I'm sure it was.
I can't hear you, Pledge. You're talking through glass.
Was Rob alive in 1939?
Probably a Christmas present he brought in.
No. I mean, if he would have displayed it like this, if you're watching on YouTube, you could see this now. Go to YouTube, you can see. I wouldn't have thought anything of it. Cool, we got an Aggie football on the shelf. Awesome. But the fact that it was displayed for the 1939 and 1919 national champions.
Well, you got to be proud of something, right? I mean.
Sure. It is on their stadium.
Sure it is.
I mean.
I mean, it's okay to display championships, and that's fine. 1939, my math is a little fuzzy, but
a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
That was
almost 100 years ago. Well, 85.
Math a little off there.
About 84, 85, something like that.
Did they have like the in 2019 that 1919 team come marching onto the field?
I hope so. I hope they honored them.
Do we really think this is Rob's?
Who else would it be?
Well, Lance.
Was Lance alive in 1939?
I'm not going to answer that question. I am not going to answer that question.
I just asked the question.
I am not going to answer that. I don't think he was.
No, I don't think so either. That could be Lance's. My bet would be Rob Thompson, though.
You think this is Rob's?
You know, if Clay or somebody's listening, he could probably let us know.
Jack would have texted by now, especially if Jack were to gift this ball. See, because, you get a lot of these balls like from Nyco Sports or whatever, they're about $100. So somebody probably spent that kind of coin thinking Rob Thompson would love this, and he's like, what the hell am I going to do with this? So he brought it to work and left it on a shelf.
I'm trying to decorate the place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm proud of him. 1939.
1939.
Yeah. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Out of way, Aggies. Go. Gig 'em.
Oh, the world of college football has certainly changed since those days back in 1939.
You think?
Oh, my goodness, has college football changed. Interesting article today in Yahoo as we get ready for the Cotton Bowl featuring Texas and Ohio State, the two teams with the biggest athletic budgets and NIL deals. And Ross Dellinger sat down with the AD and the president of Ohio State. It is fascinating what's coming. Let's dive into that and how it relates to us locally here with UTSA. We'll do that next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Have you avoided getting your T levels checked? Why continue to live with low energy or low libido potentially caused by low testosterone? Make the New Year's resolution to yourself and go get tested at Synergenics. I recommend the providers at Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss because their personalized TRT goes well beyond standard treatments. Not all TRT is the same. At Synergenics, you'll get a personally optimized TRT treatment plan from providers who specialize in testosterone therapy. So book that initial appointment at synergenicshealth.com. And Synergenics Testosterone Weight Loss also offers weight loss management with affordable prescription GLP-1 plans. And for current patients, Synergenics is offering a $150 referral credit whenever you refer a new patient. So tell your friends, synergenicshealth.com. You know, testosterone starts to decline in our 30s, so if you're feeling that loss of energy and drive, it could be caused by low T. Go get checked at Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. Book that first appointment now at synergenicshealth.com, SYNERGENX health.com for Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss.
South Texas College Football Headquarters is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
And the most wonderful time of the year for fans. Bowl season is no exception. The biggest and best matchups this bowl season are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear them all on South Texas' first and only FM sports station, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
We're getting crushed out here. What's going on with you, Nick? You used to be the unstoppable king of flag football.
I'm feeling my age. At 40, I feel like I can't keep up anymore.
Is it lower testosterone?
Lower T?
Yeah, when you turn 40, you have less testosterone. It's harder to stay lean and get the same results you used to get. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I know Nugenix. It really gives you an edge.
No question. At work, the gym, the bedroom, Nugenix turned back the clocks. Now I've got the same energy that I did in my 20s.
I want to try Nugenix.
All right, time out. Guys, go text Nugenix and get yourselves a complimentary bottle to try.
Text TEAR to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text TEAR to 42424. That's TEAR to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
George gets justice.
No amount of money can make up for a life-changing injury. I'm George Salinas, and at George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our team of attorneys will fight to get you the maximum compensation because we prepare and we care. So if you've been injured in an accident, get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, the clock continues to tick. Does Mike still have a job? We'll catch you up.
And we'll preview Spurs Bucks as the Spurs try to get off the schneid. All that and more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, along with Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. On Friday, we invite you to come hang out with us out at Pop Stroke with our friends from Yuengling for a special Flight Friday. You can win great Yuengling prizes and get ready to watch the Cotton Bowl, Texas and Ohio State. Pop Stroke over off I-10 near 1604, over close to UTSA. It's going to be a great time, and obviously Thursday, Friday, we should have 2 great college football games. And with all the NIL stuff and all of us complaining about this and that and portal, and the on-the-field product has been fantastic. For the most part, I've enjoyed college football as much as I always have. All the other crap that goes along with it, portals and NIL, I don't know who is enjoying that, but that's the new world of college football. But the games themselves, still a lot of fun and still have all my attention.
Well, sure, the playoffs haven't been all that great.
Sure.
They really haven't. I mean, that Texas-Arizona State game was fantastic, but the games themselves really haven't been all that great. So I don't know what that means, but you're right. I mean, the regular season of college football was a lot of fun, and I just think the playing field's a little more even now in a lot of ways because guys can go and play for whomever they want. Will that change a little bit? Certainly the money that they're being paid is going to change a little bit.
And you wonder, I mean, you talk about the even playing field, the rich get richer and the poor don't, right? So this whole wild, wild west of NIL, which is, 4 or 5 years old, this court ruling that is expected to give the universities a chance to share revenue and the cap that's been talked about, You know, the rich schools like a Texas, Ohio State, they're going to use every penny of that. Texas Tech, several weeks ago, laid out a plan exactly how they were going to divvy up that money from all the sports, with football getting the vast majority of it, then men's basketball, the revenue sports. But will NILs go away? And that's something that we don't know yet. Some conferences, like when we were talking at the Army-Navy game with the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference, where UTSA plays, he talked about there being a floor, but, he wants all the universities to at least be in the same neighborhood when it comes to what they are willing to share with their revenues.
Yeah, and I mean, it only makes sense. And look, when you're talking about the American Conference, you're talking about a conference that is just below the SECs, the Big Ten. And I mean, it's obviously they can't compete in those conferences, but it is the next best thing when it comes to conferences. So the commissioner, he's done a hell of a job, and he wants to keep that conference there and steady. And that means teams like UTSA or schools like UTSA are going to have to pony up enough money to make themselves competitive. And it's just the way that it is, but it's going to be incumbent on the universities now to make sure there is plenty of money allocated, that the football program, first and foremost, has enough money to get players that they can remain competitive.
I've not heard anything from UTSA on what they need. And you think about, Jeff Traylor, is it $3 million? Is it $4 million? Whatever that number is. But schools like UTSA, when you read around, around $4 million seems to be the number that gets associated with schools that are like UTSA. UTSA is not going to spend $20 million on athletics in a revenue share deal, but can they get Jeff Traylor $4 million to keep this football team competitive? One of the things that is interesting that the rich schools are now worried about, according to this article on Yahoo, is, you're going to have that $20 million, but you can still have NIL stuff. So how can they have a salary cap, if you will? The power conferences have apparently created a transition team of athletic directors from the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and ACC to explore issues and create framework related to some sort of salary cap and a clearinghouse with enforcement members, so you can only get so much on endorsement kind of deals to have some sort of level playing field.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But that clearinghouse, or whatever it's going to be called, is you've got to justify. So in other words, if you're paying a quarterback, say, I don't know, $2 million, and a car dealership wants to come in or the NIL or whatever it is, you've got to submit that and make it that it's legit
and fair market value.
Exactly right. So it's all going to be complicated. But the problem for a Texas and an Ohio State, and we'll just concentrate on them, $20 million is less than what they're paying now for players.
Yep.
So their players are going to get a pay cut, if you will.
Well, they're going to have to figure out a way to do it. And of course, the teams that are in a college football playoff, they're going to benefit from that from that extra TV money. But the Buckeyes and Longhorns are number 1 and number 2 in athletic budget. And then you look at Penn State, the 5th richest athletic budget. Notre Dame, private, so they don't have to disclose their public figures. But you know damn well they're in the top 10, if not higher, because, well, it's Notre Dame. And they've got those resources. You look at a program like UTSA. You look at a program like Texas State. When you read about these programs and how they're preparing for the revenue share model, that just means those programs have to go and try to raise more money with the idea of it being there. Now, I heard G.J. Kinney, they play a bowl game. They win a crazy bowl game. And in his post-game press conference, what is he doing? He's talking about having to raise more money. And I think they've done an incredible job up there at Texas State and trying to raise more money. But the quote from G.J. Kinney, quote, "We've done a really good job of recruiting and signing a bunch of splash signings the last couple of years, but to get that, you've got to have money. Last year's $5,000 is this year's $50,000. $20,000 is $250,000. That's the reality of college football. Had players signed or agreed, commit, Coach, love you, want to be there, but I got to go take care of my family. And if they're going to offer you that much more, you've got to do that. And what you've seen at other universities, and I don't know if UTSA has done this or not. I'm going to guess not because we haven't heard about it. But they've actually hired people on the football ops side to go help raise money. I mean, I see what Jeff Traylor is constantly doing, and April Lancira and Martin Salinas with 2-0 Inspired, and Bob Wills with his luncheons. Those are the only ones I ever hear about trying to raise money for UTSA, and kind of feels like they're behind. I mean, we were trying to figure out what the plan was when Texas Tech announced theirs. I know I was on vacation that day, but you had Lisa Campos on.
I sure did.
And it sounded like she did everything but answer any question about what a plan actually is.
Well, I'm not sure that there is a plan. I'll be totally honest with you.
That's a problem.
Well, I'm not sure that there is, and if they're just not disclosing that, I get the feeling that there's not one, or it's just in pieces. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do, but I mean, look, you got to go to your coaching staff, don't you? Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to football, and basketball, and some of these other sports, and say, what do you need to be competitive? And I mean, you got to start there. And I'm hoping that they've done that. I really am hoping that they've done that. But if Jeff Traylor says he needs X, then you got to work to do everything you can to be X. Because again, you can't have it both ways. You want to be a successful football program or any kind of sporting athletic program. But then if you don't put your money where your mouth is, it's just all talk. It's all gibberish. And so you're going to have to do that and make the commitment and find the money. And Jeff Traylor shouldn't be the lead out there trying to find money for his football program. That needs to be handled in other areas and by other people. And he's got enough to worry about just keeping a football team together.
There are obviously a lot of people on that staff over there that are trying to raise money for UTSA, and those jobs have been there forever. And generally that money is, I don't know, for facilities. You still need those people. They're doing that. But do they have people that are raising money for NIL? That should be, and you look around, there are staffs that have been put together just for those purposes at some of the bigger universities. I don't know what they need at UTSA. 1-2 people asking for money is better than none if that's where they're at right now. And because certainly feels like while there will be a revenue share and a limit of what that revenue will be, and obviously the national limit's going to be around $20 million, at UTSA I don't expect them to share $20 million. I heard Lisa Campos say that in that interview with you over and over. I don't know how many have an extra $20 million laying around. I get that. That's why you have to have people that can go get it. Because if you read this article in Yahoo today and some of the other articles written about NIL, G.J. Kinney, last year's 5 is this year's 50. What was 20 is now 250,000. Until they do something with some sort of salary cap structure, those numbers are just going to continue to go up, which means if you want a competitive football team, you're going to have to come up with that extra money. And it certainly feels like, right now, coach has a bad year, he gets fired. Kind of feels like the way it is now, you get those mad boosters. It could be the athletic director that's on the hook. It could be the school president's on the hook. Whoever is responsible for how much are we sharing? Well, coach says I can't get this player because president didn't give me enough money. Well, guess what? Maybe that president's going to be on the hot seat now, or that athletic director in ways that they haven't been before.
I'm and maybe I'm naive, and it's possible, but I'm curious because and maybe this is more major universities than a UTSA. But you always hear about these endowments and how much money they have stashed away over here and over there. UTSA's got to have that, don't they? And is it illegal to use something like that I know you've got a staff you got to pay, and I get all that, professors and everybody else, but I mean, there's got to be, I just can't see that there's a closet dedicated to, the revenue share that's empty. There's got to be something in there to start with. It just makes no sense to me that you talk to these folks, Lisa Campos one, and say it's like, well, there's just no money. To me, that makes absolutely no sense.
And I don't know the answer to that. Now, we have invited more than once President Amy to come on this show to help educate us in this area. And to this point, he is yet to come on this show. That said, I don't know how that works. Now, if you're the president of the university, you oversee the athletic department. If the revenue share is coming from the athletic department, which is what Lisa Campos is responsible for, and if she doesn't have the extra money and doesn't have the staff to go raise the extra money, then wouldn't it be on the president of the university to pull university dollars to help them out, just like any other business? You know, like here in San Antonio, we've got 7 radio stations in this building. If one of them isn't doing well, you know, they're floated by the other stations, and every corporation that has multiple revenue streams works that way. You know, one area might be down, so you pick it up with the other area, and that falls on President Amy. How much is he going to willing to reach into university funds to help out the athletic department with this scenario is the way I see it.
Well, I know UTSA got paid for that bowl game.
Yeah.
Right? They did. Where does that money go? I mean, shouldn't that be put in this pot? I'm just saying, gate share, ticket sales, anything that the football program raises, which is a lot, by the way, because I don't care what you think about other sports. When it comes to football, that's the front door. That's what raises the most money for these universities. So I'm just curious, where does that money go and how is it allocated? I'd like to know the answer to that, because that's a significant amount of money. When they go play Texas and they get paid $2 or $3 million or whatever the case is, where's that money going? What happens to it? They're scheduling. They've got games against big universities that they're going to pay them to come play. Where's that money go?
Now, here's the part that I don't know that many of us have tried to figure out, and we're not accountants. I don't know. All those revenues that you talked about have been there since the beginning of football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every small school, they have their money games where they go get their ass kicked because, you know, they're getting that big old payday. And that's helped fund everything. That's helping fund travel, uniform costs, nutrition, coaches' salaries. So all the revenues that you're used to seeing, all that's still there. Now they've got to figure out, and it's on Lisa Campos as the athletic director. All right, we get X in revenues. Our budget is this, but now we've got to figure out how much of our revenues, and I don't know if they're profits. I don't know, with their incoming money, how much is already spent. But now they've got to figure out how to spend another $3, $4, $5 million with the revenue share with the athletes. So that's why, you see these other universities have added staff members to go out and help raise those additional dollars, because all the other expenses are still there that the traditional revenues have always helped cover.
The problem for UTSA is a tricky one, because it is still a very young program. The boosters that Texas has, that Texas A&M has, UTSA doesn't have. They just don't. So that's tough. But I would like for somebody to explain to me where that money goes, where the money, because I know they made at least $1.5 million when they played Texas this year. Where's that $1.5 million? Does that all go to paying staff and expenses? I mean, it just seems like, it's crazy.
All the traditional expenses are still there, and they've had money games there. But what can they do to try to generate other revenues to help cover this NIL share? Or does that cut into their profits? And I don't know if universities run like a regular business, because you got revenue and then you got profits, right? They're two different things because the money going out. They've just got to figure out how to get the money there if we want to keep having a winning football team in San Antonio. And quite frankly, if you're Jeff Traylor, if you're not getting the support you need financially, how long are you going to stick around? Or, it wouldn't even be his choice. They start losing, coaches get fired. That's the nature of the business.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely the nature of the business. But I have to believe that all the money they get from these games, bowl games, Texas games, is not all going away to expenses. There's got to be something left over, and you're going to have to figure out what is necessary to pay expenses, what is necessary to put into a pot where you can do the revenue share. I just do not believe that the expenses are that high that they use all $1.5 million they got from Texas to pay bills. I just don't buy that. It didn't cost them $1.5 million to go to Texas to play a football game.
No, but with that, all the different uniform combos that they buy, nutrition, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, yeah, they all have big athletic budgets. They all go spend money. They just have to now redesign their budgets to incorporate revenue share.
I need an explanation. I need an education on this. And I mean, seriously.
Well, I think all of us do.
I mean, you go to
But
school.
you don't get straight answers from most people.
My daughter went to school at UTSA. Wasn't cheap.
No.
I mean, it wasn't. It was expensive.
Yes.
I mean, it's not as expensive as some, but it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of students over there. And I'm just wondering where, I mean, there's got to be a profit there. They're not spending it all on expenses.
You know, it's who knows, right? Because every coach that isn't at one of those major schools is talking about how do we find more money, whether it's a Jeff Traylor, whether it's a G.J. Kinney, whether it's Eric Morris at North Texas. They're all looking at the same thing. And again, G.J. Kinney's quote, and also I'll say it again, last year's 5,000 is this year's 50,000. 20,000 is 250,000 because the market has changed for a lot of these players. I can tell you, Saturday at the Navy All-American Bowl in the Alamo Dome, which is going to be a lot of fun, those kids are making a lot of money. They've been promised a lot of money, and more money than the kids that were here last year, and a lot more money than the kids that were here in this game 2 years ago, because the market has changed, because the bigger schools are raising that much more money, and that has certainly changed what a player was worth last year versus this year.
Well, and which leads to a problem, right? Or where does it stop? And I know they're trying to get it done with this revenue share, but at some point in time, it's got to stop. There's, the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business, and they've got a salary cap. At some point in time, it's got to stop. I think that's what they hope happens with this revenue share. But at the same time, it just seems to me that you have smart people running these universities, and they're going to find a way to find this money to make the most important part of their university successful. And because, and again, I said this the other day, if UTSA can decide, you want to be a football university or don't you? It's your choice. If you don't, fine. You don't have to spend that money. But if you want to be and you want to continue to win conference championships and go to bowl games, then you're going to have to spend the money. It's just that simple.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. From college football, trying to find the money, and where does the market stop? Jerry Jones has an idea how to slow down the coaching market and their salaries in the NFL. We'll laugh at this coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. You think about all the playoff games starting this weekend, whether it's the college games on Thursday and Friday or the NFL on Saturday and Sunday. You want a chance to win some money while you're watching those games? Do like me and 5 million other players and play the Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy. It's fun and it's easy to make some cash. With their Pick'em game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats, yards, touchdowns, interceptions, that sort of thing. Underdog is the only pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. You can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button and cash out whenever you want. And I know I benefited from this weekend, the Underdog Rescues. So if you have a player that gets hurt early in a game, not only will they refund your entry, you'll get a promo to use on your next one. It's incredible. An Underdog's double flex option, you can take 2 L's and still get a win. Love playing on Underdog. The best place to play Pick'em. Download the Underdog Fantasy app. When you sign up, use my promo code STAR. Deposit now and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Again, promo code STAR. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, use promo code STAR when you get signed up at Underdog Fantasy.
The Morning Huddle.
What happened to your beard?
I lost it. Dude.
He used the wrong card.
In a fire? Look away. I'm hideous. Look away.
Don't look at my face.
Look away. I didn't realize I had this right here. Yeah. This little wobble.
You can play it like a guitar.
You're
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Find your purpose. Find your why. At the Y, you'll find more than just a place to work out. With opportunities to connect with neighbors and give back to your community, you'll also discover a greater sense of purpose. Join the Y January 6th through the 11th for Wellness Week at any greater San Antonio YMCA location. Learn more at ymcasatx.org.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Pizza craving? We've got you covered. At Round Table Pizza, we've been crafting pizzas with premium, high-quality ingredients for over 60 years. From our made-from-scratch dough to our savory toppings piled all the way to the edge. Find your nearest location or order delivery at roundtablepizza.com.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and switch to the expensive shampoo with amino acids. Sure, you don't know what those are or why you need them, but it sounds very impressive. And if you switch and save hundreds, you can massage it into your scalp every day. Now, if only you can get people to lean toward your head to smell those aminos. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shampoo. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-282-7766. That's 800-282-7766. 800-282-7766.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
At the Institute for Functional Health, we are dedicated to helping you live life fully, playing with your kids, golfing, and feeling great without relying on pills. We're not about treating symptoms temporarily. We're about extending your health span, the years you live in good health. I'm Dr. Torres, and for over a decade, my team has transformed lives by tackling health issues at the root. Tired of medications without real answers? Take control of your health with us. Call 210-468-1891 for a free Discovery Day consultation or visit iffhealth.com. Improve your health span today.
He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. What music is this, Pledge?
It's the Black Keys.
Okay.
It's the Black Keys?
Sure.
I've heard of them. Like a jazzy band kind of thing going on?
You hear that and think jazz?
I don't know. Pledge is enjoying it, though. He's got the head bobbing. And
his head's always bobbing.
He's like going, yeah.
I mean, Pledge literally is a bobblehead. He cannot sit still. I mean, he's got too many jolt colas in him. He's just, there's always some sort of maneuvering. That dude just vibrates through life.
Wow. That's not a bad way to go, vibrating through life.
Jolt cola. I haven't thought about that in decades.
I mean, if we're going to celebrate 1939 championships, I mean, why not? Let's go Jolt Cola.
Why not?
I'm not sure if you're Red Bull, Bang, or whatever it is you're doing these days, so Jolt seemed to work.
Is that a thing, really? Jolt?
Yes.
It is? Wow. Jolt.
You know, if it wasn't, I'd be brilliant, and we could market that, and I'll retire.
You know, I wasn't, I'm not a big energy drink guy. I like my 5 hours, but.
Yeah, not big. I have a 5-hour daily.
Well, but I'm just saying like Red Bull or the Monster or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of those.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
You know, Red Bull to me is only good with vodka.
Yeah, which was kind of an oxymoron, is it not?
I mean,
you're getting drunk and you're high at the same, or you're energetic at the same time. Isn't that like?
Explain, sir.
Well, I mean, so your Red Bull's got you up here, and your vodkas, they work against each other.
Well, I think that just keeps everything even keel.
Well, you can drink more, obviously.
You're staying even keel.
And then before you know it, you're passed out on the floor at the Roo Pub.
I mean, that's just James. It's only happened to James like 7 or 8 times.
Well, that's okay.
This year.
Who's counting?
And we're on the 7th.
Who's counting?
Well, James, it's a calendar.
Yeah, I just put a tally mark on each day.
Damn it happened again.
A tally mark.
Stop. On our YouTube channel, and you guys can always subscribe and comment on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Might have struck a nerve with the NIL and UTSA as it relates. A lot of comments there. A lot of people have different ideas. A lot of people have different facts that may or may not be factual, and I think that's a big part of what's going on with the NIL and the revenue share. Even UTSA, how much money are they getting from the conference in their TV deal? We know it's not a full share, but when you ask, they tell you to put in an open record request thing, and you get nothing in return for that. So we don't really know. And we don't really know how much these players are actually getting. You hear this and you hear that, but you don't really know. We have no idea what a lot of these guys are getting.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, the whole point is you can't convince me, nobody there can, that we're starting from scratch. We found a penny on the floor, so that we're going to start with that. You can't convince me of that. There's got to be money available already without going out and raising a dime. There's money there. There has to be. I just don't see it any other way. And so there's got to be at least a foundation. And you compare or you compile that with donations or whatever you're doing, and then you go from there. But you can't convince me that there's nothing in the coffer right now to use to pay these players.
I understand. Like a lot of the revenue made by the football team does help a lot of the other non-revenue sports. That's the way athletic departments have been built since day one. The biggest thing they have to do is figure out they've got a brand new big expense. How do they divvy it up so the players can get paid? And again, years ago when all the talk about should we pay players, well, they didn't want to do that. There was a time not that long ago, because my kid was in undergrad at Sam Houston State, and she worked for the university on the orientation team. She made $21 an hour. Couldn't you just have made all of those athletes an hourly? Everybody gets the same. Oh, we can't do that. It's too much money. If they would have done that, but they didn't want employees, right? Because then workers' comp and other insurance, we can't. Now look at where they're at now.
Exactly.
I mean, you'd have said, whether you're the starting quarterback or the backup goalie on the soccer team, you're an athlete, you got $21 an hour or $25 an hour, whatever it is. Practice time is scheduled for this. You're required to be there. Everybody would have under 30 hours a week at $25 an hour. Seems like it'd be a little cheaper than you got how much? You got guys that are making more than their professors already.
Well, look, the NCAA is responsible for the mess we're in now. I'm convinced of it. They had no teeth. And if they could have solved this problem years ago, or at least started the process by just giving players a stipend, something. Mm-hmm. And that's all they were begging for, instead of, fining players or people for buying an athlete a Coke, for goodness sake.
Or a Jolt.
Or a Jolt, or whatever the case may be. It was ridiculous. The NCAA has no teeth. They've never had any teeth. And they could have solved this. And then when California did what it did, the NCAA said, whoop, we're just going to throw our hands up and screw everybody. It's a wild, wild west. Have fun.
And that's what it is. And now you got the portal. And it's weird when you look at the portal and you've got guys in the portal that are playing in bowl games, because what are you going to do? But the calendars don't line up. I think it was Sark that said, spring football is just going to go away, and they'll have more like an NFL schedule. So there wouldn't be a portal during this time of year, but the urgency, if you're transferring to get to spring ball, is because, well, if you're going to play in the fall, you got to be here in the spring. It's weird. You got guys that are in the portal that are practicing with UT right now that were with a different team all year just to start getting used to things.
Yes. The whole thing is, it's outrageous. And it's come to a point now where we're doing this revenue share. You're trying to cap this thing. And I just think there's a long way to go yet until we get a handle on this thing. Because, look, there's even players that they're not going to want to go to the NFL. I mean, I don't know if the rumors are true, or this is a wild story. Quinn Ewers being offered in some places $5 and $6 million to play another year, which is more than he's going to make in the NFL his first year.
Yeah, if he's a first-round pick, he'll make more than that. If he is a third-round pick, then his option is there, and it would be very similar to what Cam Ward had to make his decision on. Cam Ward, after his final year at Washington State, did declare for the NFL draft, and he got his draft grade, and then he got offers from a couple of places, including Miami, and said, you know what, a year in Miami sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And probably more money than he would have made if he was a third or fourth round draft pick. And now he's going to be a first-round draft pick, might be the number 1 overall pick if you believe the mock draft that dropped today at ESPN.com that has the Tennessee Titans taking Cam Ward at number 1 overall. How cool would that be if a former UIW Cardinal got drafted number 1 overall?
I think it would be fantastic. I really do. And I think that's the way Tennessee's going to go. I think the Will Levis era has been a failure. And they're going to look to go somewhere else. And I think Cam Ward, and no offense to Shedeur, I think they're both great players. But if it was me, I'm picking Cam Ward.
And again, neither Cam or Shedeur would have been first-round picks a year ago.
No.
But when you look at this year's quarterback class, they're right there at the top.
Absolutely.
Timing is everything.
It is that.
And for Quinn Ewers, he's got to look at who could be the top quarterbacks next year. Or how much money is Oregon going to actually give him to go there, or some of the other places. But I think Oregon is the most rumored if Quinn decides to come back to college, because we know he ain't coming back to Austin.
No, absolutely not. I think there'd be a riot in that liberal city up the road.
Wow. Where did that come from?
Well, I'm just saying.
Wow.
That's what it is, right?
I mean, all of a sudden, Rob Thompson is back on the Blitz.
That's why, that's what Aggies say. That's what we heard yesterday from all our Aggie friends.
Our Aggie friend named Austin.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He said that liberal city.
You like that, huh?
I did.
Uh-huh.
I did. It's absolutely true.
Wow. What do you do?
You really think, look, Quinn Ewers is going to be Colt McCoy. He's going to make a great living in the NFL, but he's not a starting quarterback.
We'll debate this forever. And until we actually see it, who knows? Would I put money on him having an incredible NFL career? No. And you look at a Colt McCoy, dude, that's a great career that he's had holding a clipboard.
That's what I'm saying.
We can call it like Cooper Rush. I mean, you think anybody thought Cooper Rush when he was in high school or at Central Michigan was going to be an NFL guy? No. But, you look at, a guy like Tony Romo. Look at some of these undrafted guys that come out of nowhere and have great careers. The game is so different. It's always interesting when you look at guys that maybe didn't have the best college career at quarterback, yet they get to the NFL and, I don't know, you all of a sudden you're Tom Brady and you're the GOAT. And then other guys that you think are going to be great that fizzle out in a hurry. I mean, that's just
there's been a lot of those guys.
I mean, your chances of fizzling out are a lot higher.
We saw one play for the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday. Carson Wentz had a great first year, got hurt, Hadn't been the same since.
Hasn't been the same since.
He looked awful Sunday.
I think that was by design.
Probably
I mean,
so.
it doesn't help his stock with his film of, man, if he plays, because that was the talk going in. Carson Wentz playing for a job next year. He's got to put some good he did what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
He was playing with a JV team. So, I mean, there's that.
He didn't make them better.
No, he did not.
He didn't lift them up. That is for sure. I mean, so, yeah, who knows with Quinn? And I think some of it, where is he going to end up? I mean, when you look at, say, a Drake May, how many of us were really excited about what Drake May was going to be in the NFL? Yet, he looks like he could be the guy.
I think he is the guy. But Drake May, I mean, he was a pretty good quarterback.
Pretty good.
Pretty good
I mean,
quarterback,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, but did you think of Drake May as, man, that's one they've got to go get?
The Patriots did.
Sure, but for the most part, they also drafted Bailey Zappi. So,
That son of a.
I mean,
He throws a pick to that 400-pound guy, wanted to jump through the TV and kill him.
Your Tennessee Titans. It didn't cost you a thing.
Well, I thought it did at the time. I did, and it might have.
Why not give the guy athletic credit for just being an incredible athlete for making that pick and then taking a knee when he realized how far he had to go for a pick six?
400 pounds.
Yeah, that was great.
Dude, there was more jiggling going on in that return than in a bowl of Jell-O.
I'm glad you said that. I wasn't sure where you were going to go with that, Ryan Angle.
Well, I'm just saying, and it was a great play by the guy. I'll give him credit, but it was a terrible pass.
The sad part is I thought you headed the other way, so I texted you, congratulations, you dodged a bullet, and you were like,
dude, Bailey Zappi. And I love Bailey. When I saw him play in the Alamo Dome against UTSA,
Western Kentucky,
I thought this dude, man, is the real deal. Mm-hmm. He just hasn't been.
You also thought Malik Willis was going to be your guy, and Will Levis was going to be your guy. As your Tennessee Titan fan,
I will say
Will Levis. You started
yes.
putting mayonnaise in your coffee because of Will Levis.
Will Levis, I did. I thought he would be better than he has been.
So you're not a talent evaluator, is what I heard.
Well, I think Cam Ward's the guy. What are you saying? Am I jinxing Cam?
You might be.
Maybe.
At least as long as he doesn't go to Cleveland.
Jeez. Nobody's going to go to Cleveland. That's the problem.
Somebody will go to Cleveland.
Well, somebody will, but it won't be Shedeur Sanders. Deion will make sure of that. I promise you.
I mean, maybe Deion just wants his kid out of the house finally.
I don't think so.
Go get your own job.
Yeah.
Nah.
He ain't going to Cleveland.
And he's not getting a pay cut as a first-round guy.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, let's talk about Stevens Roofing. I tell you what, I've been talking about Stevens Roofing for a long time now. I'm really proud to do so. Local company, family-owned company, and they've been in business for a long time here in San Antonio and South Texas. And you know as well as I do, you don't stay in business that long if you're not doing it right. Stevens Roofing is doing it right. You need a reliable roofer with something as important as a roof on your home. It covers everything that you hold dear, your family being the number one. Stevens Roofing is that reliable roofer. They can do any kind of project. You got a commercial building that needs a roof, they can do that. You want a metal roof on your house, Stevens Roofing can do that as well. Licensed by the city of San Antonio, and estimates are always free. All you have to do is pick up the phone and give them a call, 210-785-0994. And if you're like me and just about everybody else on the planet, you want to save some money, and you've been thinking about going solar, well, guess what? Stevens Roofing can help you there as well. Solar panels are increasingly affordable. In fact, they can save you money on your monthly utility bills. They'll often increase the value of your home, and there are even options to keep the lights on when the grid goes down. Who knows when that may happen again? Call Stevens Roofing. You can get that taken care of. They got a team of certified experts who will deliver solar solutions that are tailored to your specific needs. So for roofing or for solar, call the local company that's been trusted for decades. Call Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994. Stevens Roofing has you covered. Give them a call, 210-785-0994.
This is The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com. It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, the clock continues to tick. Does Mike still have a job? We'll catch you up. And we'll preview Spurs Bucks as the Spurs try to get off the schneid. All that and more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto. Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
George gets justice.
Hurt in a wreck? Get George. Hit by an 18-wheeler or commercial truck? Get George. Injured at work? Get George. When you're dealing with personal injury, you need to get George because George gets justice. I'm George Salinas, and my San Antonio-based firm has been recognized across the state of Texas and the United States. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
When you are just craving something salty and packs a crunch, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds is your crunch time decision. Game day just got a whole lot crunchier thanks to the powerhouse snack, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. We're talking about crispy, golden bites of pure awesomeness. Pork rinds are your MVP snack. And get this, they're low carb and high in protein, so you can keep the energy high without the guilt. Don't settle for ordinary on game day. Grab yourself a bag of Southern Recipe Pork Rinds at H-E-B today. Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the San Antonio Spurs blew a 19-point lead last night against the Bulls in Chicago. They're back in action tomorrow night in Milwaukee against the Bucks. Las Vegas Raiders have fired head coach Antonio Pierce after just 1 year. LA Chargers have signed former Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott for their playoff run. That'll begin Saturday in Houston against the Texans. And, well, still no word on whether Jerry's going to let Mike McCarthy visit with the Bears.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
It's 5 o'clock. If you're getting off work, you made it. Congrats.
5:03.
How about that?
Absolutely.
You made it.
You've made it. Tuesday is almost in the books.
Almost. At least the hard part of it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
The rest of it's a piece of cake. Dinner. Maybe a cold one. Who knows?
Did you say maybe?
Maybe.
I'm going to guess there's definitely a cold one in your future. Dinner would be the maybe.
No, I'm going to have dinner. Why wouldn't I have dinner? Promise you I'm going to have dinner.
Well, I promise you're going to have a cold one, too.
Well, I might. You never know.
You know,
it's dry January. That's what everybody keeps telling me, which has got to be the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Are you participating?
No.
I can't even say the sentence without laughing.
I don't know. Is anybody participating in that?
Dry January?
Dry January.
God, I hope not.
I mean, is January hard enough without having a drink or two occasionally?
I mean, that's like all the people that made their New Year's resolutions and then realized they had a couple of days off of work. So let's start it on Monday the 6th.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And then by Tuesday the 7th, the hell with that. I hope you're not celebrating Dry January. Or if you are, they've got water over there at Popstroke, but we want you to hang out with us on Friday out at Popstroke with our friends from Yingling for a special Flight Friday. Great Yingling prizes to be won. Get ready to watch the old Cotton Bowl there at Popstroke I-10 near 1604, where we will not be celebrating Dry January.
We will not. I can promise you that. There will be beer flowing, Yingling products. And I just spitballing here, but just from what has happened in the past, I'm sure some of them will be no charge.
Yeah, they will be. Now, speaking of, I would love to go home and have a nice flight by Yingling, except somebody has yet to pay off his beer bet loss on old Dalvin Cook.
I know. Well, you know, it's funny because I told you that,
Late
too.
fees are starting to ensue, my friend.
I owe you money, too. I don't know how the hell all this is happening. So it will all be delivered to you tomorrow.
All right. I want to make sure you deliver that Flight by Yingling before we see our friends from Flight by Yingling on Friday.
You will have it tomorrow. You have my word.
All right.
There you go.
We will see. We've got a bit of an update on the new football in our studio that you can't really see on camera the way Rob put it on the top shelf, which apparently doesn't make the screen. But it is Texas A&M football that says on one of the panels, 2-time national champions. And it's got 1919 and 1939 embossed. So in our group chat, I sent a picture of the football. A.J. Hoffman, the first to respond, that 1919 team was something else.
I'm sure they were. Yeah, they were awesome.
Mm-hmm. So I said, Rob, did you get that for Christmas? He said, no, it's my former hug pillow.
His hug pillow.
What the hell does that mean?
Wow.
He says, I hug my 2 trophies every night before I go to sleep. Then he said it was actually part of a white elephant Aggie gift basket.
Well, he got screwed, didn't he?
One of my sons bought.
Oh, damn. Are his sons mad at him?
You know, I don't know which one because I could see both Jack and Clay doing this. What the hell do we get, Dad? I don't know, something with an Aggie logo on it. Well, he's got everything. He doesn't have this.
I wonder how many Aggies have that. Wow. Well, you got to be proud of your championships, no matter how long ago they were.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, Dallas Cowboys, 5-time Super Bowl champions.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, at least they were in my lifetime.
That's very
I
true.
can vividly remember those championships and those teams, at least the last 3.
Uh-huh. You can remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
You got a good memory.
I do, actually. Wow. And, you know, when I'm really feeling nostalgic, I break out the VHS player.
The VHS player. Wow. Did they have VHS players in the 90s?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well,
how old are you?
Just checking.
How unconnected are you?
I lived through the 90s. That was so long ago, I don't remember what they had.
Are you kidding? I may or may not have taken our wedding video and recorded a game by accident.
Wow.
I mean, good news, nobody has seen a VHS player in 30 years, so we'll never know.
You don't have one?
No, a VHS
Well,
player?
how in the world do you watch your video then?
Tongue-in-cheek, idiot.
Well,
Come on.
I thought maybe you might have.
I don't even have a DVD player anymore.
You could transfer that tape over to like a disc.
I don't have a DVD player anymore.
Even a little computer chip. Modern technology. Yeah, Troy Aikman probably looked pretty good on a chip.
Troy Aikman has 3 chips.
He does.
He does. He does.
Last quarterback to wear a Dallas Cowboy uniform to do anything.
Do you still have a DVD player at your house?
No, I don't. You don't need it anymore.
You don't need it anymore. You know what's weird? I still have DVDs.
Really?
I do.
I'm sure I probably have DVDs floating around somewhere.
Yeah, they're in a drawer.
Yeah.
I have nothing I could watch them on.
Well, that sucks, because you just, what's on them?
Well, old movies.
Old movies, huh? Boom, chicka, wow, wow.
No.
That's the old Debbie Does Dallas.
That was on Betamax, man. That was even before VHS.
Dude. Wow. What?
Speaking of Dallas, let's get the latest on the Cowboys. Our good friend Charean Williams will join us next and clean up this program here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star.
First, I got to brag about my Connecticut quality water softener. So proud of that thing. I love it in my house. It is an absolute game changer. And, I was a skeptic. I'll be honest with you. I was a skeptic. I didn't, how could this be any better than anything else I've ever had? Well, let me tell you something. It is. It is head and shoulders above everything else that I have had when it comes to water softeners. It is the most popular water softener on the market. In Connecticut, well, they've been around a while. They've been serving San Antonio and South Texas for over 50 years. And what I love about this thing is you don't plug it in. It doesn't run on electricity, but it does provide soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And right now, for a limited time, hey, you can get a free reverse osmosis drinking station installed right at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in of your old water softener, and they're even throwing in 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. But you don't want to wait. That offer ends soon. So call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country. That phone number is 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at ConnecticutSA.com. You owe it to yourself to give them a call and check it out. And when you do that, tell them you heard it from me, your old buddy Joe.
It's showtime. Let's do it. It's fun time. Here we go.
South Texas home of the 12-team college football playoff is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. All of the matchups are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear every game on South Texas' first and only FM sports station. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hello, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio, and since 1994, I've been representing people and families seriously injured by negligent drivers. Recently, we've all seen advertisements from attorneys here in San Antonio saying their firm does not get paid an attorney fee unless there's a recovery. And maybe you've heard, we don't get paid unless you get paid, or words to that effect. Well, that is what I've been doing for more than 30 years. I honestly did not know that there were attorneys in San Antonio that would represent an injured client and charge a fee if there was no recovery. You see, I practice law with basic principles, one of which is you never need an excuse to do the right thing. If you or a family member has been injured in a vehicle collision, including a commercial or business vehicle, an 18-wheeler, call me. The phone call and consultation is free. If you hire me, I will not get a fee unless there is a recovery. And this has been true for me and my firm for more than 30 years. My number, 210-900-0400, that's 210-900-0400, or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now, sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first. On your timeline, no waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades at no upfront cost. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first, sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Hey, Manny Jr. here with Rock's Discount Vitamins. This holiday season, don't let those extra pounds sneak up on you. We have the largest selection of weight control products to help you stay on track. Boost your metabolism with our non-stimulant fat burners, or try Cuts, which helps your carbs work for you, not against you. With 12 locations across San Antonio, Rock's Discount Vitamins has everything you need to keep your diet in check this holiday season. Find us at rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for your continued support.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. As we sit at 5:16, according to all the reports, Jerry Jones is still not giving the Bears an answer on whether or not they're allowed to talk with Mike McCarthy, and we still don't know what Mike McCarthy's future is in Dallas. Let's get the latest from Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk, joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line. I can't ask, are you surprised what Jerry is doing? But I am a little surprised, and I don't know what the rule is. Is there a time limit on him to respond to the Bears' request to either confirm or deny, or can he just let the request sit in the inbox until they decide to move out or the contract expires?
Yeah, they have exclusivity until January 14th, so they can do whatever they want until January 14th. They don't have to respond to the Bears at all. They can just say, not respond, not say yes, not say no, not say anything, and just wait and decide what they want to do. So many questions to this thing for sure, but I don't know if we've ever seen anything quite like this. I don't remember a head coach whose contract has run out who was requested for an interview like this. It's kind of wild.
You know, Charean, it is amazing. You know, there's a lot of things that the Cowboys do that will make you scratch your head and you don't understand. But it just seems to me, unless it's a contract issue, either Jerry wants Mike McCarthy or he doesn't. And to me, it seems like a pretty easy thing. Do you think it might be a money deal?
Well, even more than that, I think Jerry wants Mike McCarthy. I don't think Jerry. This is just me. I'm not giving any inside information here. This is me knowing Jerry, going way back with Jerry, reading Jerry pretty good. And my guess is he doesn't want Mike McCarthy long term. He doesn't want to give Mike McCarthy a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal. If he had his preference, it would probably be a 1-year deal. But there's no way Mike McCarthy's coming back for a 1-year deal. Would Mike McCarthy take a 2-year deal? I think that's the question. If he would take a 2-year deal, I think Jerry would do that in a heartbeat. But I am sure that Mike's probably pushing for 3 or 4 years. And I don't blame him. I mean, who can blame him? And so I don't know that it's the money so much as the length of the contract. To me, that's the big thing, because I can see Jerry just really pushing for, hey, let's do another prove-it deal. And Mike being like, are you crazy? No possible way. I'm not doing that again. And would he even agree to 2 years? I don't know that. I don't know that I would, especially when you have other options. And he is going to have other options, and there'll be other options besides the Bears.
New Orleans is apparently also interested in Mike McCarthy, according to reports. So, yeah, there are options out there. One of the things, though, and it's funny you bring up length of contract, because obviously that is something we talked about earlier, but the comments that he made following the game on Sunday, where he talked about, in the sports world, everybody wants incentive contracts. And do you think, when you look at the reports that Sean Payton is, around $20 million and Ben Johnson wants $20 million, Jerry doesn't want to pay that, but if you go win me a Super Bowl, I'll be glad to write you a check. Do you think Jerry, not only for the Cowboys, but all owners, trying to reset the market on how coaches get paid?
I don't know if everybody's doing that, but I know Jerry doesn't want to pay, not only doesn't want to pay $20 million, he's not going to pay $20 million. That's just the way it is. I mean, he talks about that all the time with, we're the Cowboys, and you get more, off the field things when you're with the Cowboys, and you should want to be with the Cowboys because of the visibility, et cetera, et cetera. So you're not paying a coach $20 million. There's no possible way. So, and Mike knows that. If he wants $20 million, this isn't the place to be. There are other places that are going to pay you more money, probably not $20 million, but there are other places that are going to pay you more than the Cowboys. There's no question about that. So I don't know if it's the NFL resetting the market. I just think it's Jerry being Jerry and not wanting to pay coaches. Jerry spends money on things that he wants to spend money on, like a yacht and a helicopter and things like that. I'm sure he gets great deals because he pulls the Cowboys card. Look what I can do for you for promotional and advertising and all of those sorts of things. So I'm sure he doesn't pay full price, but he doesn't spend a lot of money on those types of things that he wants to spend money on. But those types of other things, he doesn't spend a lot of money on those things, And I think this is one area that he's never going to spend the money that other teams are going to spend on a head coach.
Charean, and I've got to ask you this because I can't imagine Jerry doing this to Mike McCarthy, not letting him go interview with the Bears or anybody else. And then when January 14th rolls around, he says, well, we're not going to retain you. Do you see a scenario where Jerry would do something like that?
Well, I think they'll come, if you look back when he did Jason Garrett's thing, and he always maximizes, as we know, the publicity for these things. He likes people talking about the Cowboys. We're talking about the Cowboys, and you guys always talk about the Cowboys, and I always talk about the Cowboys. But other people who don't normally talk about the Cowboys are talking about the Cowboys. And, all these other teams are searching for a coach, and it's still a lot of Cowboys. And Jerry likes it like that. So he's going to maximize this. He's a salesman and a showboater, and this is what he does, and so he's going to maximize. So back to Jason Garrett. The last time that Jason Garrett's contract was up in 2020, he waited until wild card weekend to announce it, to kind of take away from the playoff game. So I'd look for something late in the week, a decision to be made with Mike McCarthy, whether he's coming back or not coming back. And I do think they're talking, and I do think he wants him back. But again, he wants him back at his price. He wants him back at his length of deal. He doesn't want him back for a 5-year deal that's going to pay him $20 million a year. That's not going to happen. So I think if they can come to some kind of terms on agreement, meet somewhere in the middle, maybe a 3-year deal or a 2-year deal with the third-year option, something along those lines, with a pay raise over whatever he was making, then I think Mike McCarthy will be back as coach of the Cowboys. But I think Jerry's going to feel fine if he walks away from that too. If Mike McCarthy says, I'm not taking anything less than 4 years and, $15 million, Jerry's just going to say, bye, I can get another coach to coach the Cowboys.
Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Blitz. Everything that Mike McCarthy has said, and I do find Mike to be as honest as he can to be when talking to the media, whether it's interviews on the radio here on our station or at the podium. I do think he wants to be in Dallas, but you got to feel wanted too. But when you look at, say, Chicago and you look at Dallas, which do you think is the actual more attractive coaching position?
Oh, that's hard. I mean, just Chicago and the lack of success that they've had over these past. I mean, I thought they were going to be pretty good this year. I thought they were going to make the playoffs, and their defense had come on the second half of last year, drafted Caleb Williams and all the weapons they had on offense, and they weren't good at all. And I don't know how good Caleb Williams is. I think that's a huge question mark. So I guess it would be, how do you feel about the quarterback that you're going to be inheriting, because that's going to be your quarterback for the length of your contract, whether it's Dallas or whether it's Chicago. The length of the contract, can you win with Caleb Williams? Can you win with Dak Prescott? I think that's the difference. And Dak Prescott's proven. He's gotten you to the playoffs, 3 consecutive 12-win seasons. So if it's me, I would do Dak Prescott over Caleb Williams. But do I think that this is a team that's capable of winning a Super Bowl? No. Over the next 3 years, 4 years, I don't. If they're not going to use free agency, I don't see that happening. So if you're going to roll the dice, then, think the upside is greater in Chicago. And I think it could be if Caleb Williams hits next year, if he starts playing like Bryce Young played late this season with the weapons that they have and some parts that they have on defense, then I think you might have a chance to win a Super Bowl in the length of that contract, something that, to me, you don't have a chance to do in Dallas.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Mike McCarthy and for Jerry Jones and Cowboy fans. But I look at the Chicago job, Charean, and with that quarterback on a rookie deal, whether he makes it or not, I think you can add some pieces around him if the Bears will do that to kind of make that a little bit more attractive. If I'm McCarthy, I'm wanting to go talk to the Bears.
Yeah, and to your point, you look, they added Keenan Allen and they added some free agents in the offseason. So I think they're going to be willing to spend money on free agents. And I think some free agents are going to be wanting to go there, seeing the potential of what they have. So, yeah, that's the difference. I mean, the Bears are going to be willing to spend money. The Cowboys are not going to be willing to spend money. So, yeah, there's positives and negatives to both. But if you go and watch the film with Caleb Williams, and honestly, after the first part of the season, I didn't see him play that much because they weren't on many national games. And one of our writers lives in Chicago, and he covered all their games. And why would you want to watch the Bears as bad as they were? So I didn't see how he played late in the season very much. But if you go and watch the tape, your coach in this position, and go and watch the tape of Caleb Williams, I think that's what you have to decide. Can I win with this guy as my quarterback? Because, again, he's going to be the quarterback more than likely for the length of your contract there. So if you can't win with him, then you're better off staying in Dallas and having Dak Prescott and knowing that you can win 12 games with Dak and have a chance in the postseason. Winning in the postseason we know has been a struggle, but you do have that chance with Dak. We've seen it over the last 3 years.
Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk here on the Blitz, 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Season end Sunday. Players have their exit interview yesterday and today. I would guess maybe tomorrow Jerry has that really good long sit-down with Mike McCarthy and the staff, or it's Jerry, does he talk to Zimmer and Bones first? I mean, what do you think the rest of the week will look like for the front office and when we might have an idea of what direction they're leaning?
Yeah, I think it's Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there, and then, over the weekend, I think it's in the middle of the playoffs, either Saturday or Sunday at some point, because they want to make a big splash and have people talking about them in the playoffs. And if they come out in the middle of one of the games or at halftime of one of the games or in between games and say, we're keeping Mike McCarthy or we're getting rid of Mike McCarthy, what's everybody going to be talking about in the second half of the game or in between games or whatever? They're going to be talking about the Cowboys, and that's what he wants. So that's to me the timeline. That's what I think he does. I think he follows the same. And he said, I'm going to follow the same timeline I've had in the past. And if that's the case, it's going to be in the middle of the playoffs. So Saturday or Sunday, probably I would expect a decision. So probably talk to him, Thursday, Friday, somewhere in there and make a decision. Now, to hold that, Mike McCarthy's not. If Mike McCarthy's not coming back, like he's not going to hold that news. Like he's going to say, "Release me, let me go." Let me go talk to Chicago. I'm out of here, type thing, and get the news out that he's not coming back. So that's maybe that timeline. Maybe they don't even talk to him until late Friday into Saturday morning, so that they can announce something during one of the games. But I think that's Jerry's. I think that's what he wants to do, is announce it during these games over the weekend.
Would not be surprised. That's typical Jerry Jones. The other thing, Charean, that's Micah Parsons said today, he's going to be at the game, the Cotton Bowl, on Friday night with Jerry.
Yeah.
And they're planning a conversation. And Micah said he wants to ask Jerry some questions about the direction of this team. Is that something you think Jerry would be honest with Micah about?
Oh, no question. I mean, he's usually honest with the media about those things. I don't think there's any question he's going to be honest with Micah. So, yeah, I think they'll probably have some of those conversations. I don't think it'll be very lengthy because they'll be watching the game and doing other things, and Jerry will have a million people to talk to, and a million people will want to talk to Micah. So I don't think it's going to be a lengthy conversation, but I do think they probably have a conversation that's related to where is this team headed? What are we going to do to make ourselves better?
Going to be interesting. Charean, when you think about the playoff games this weekend, of course, the Houston Texans get the Texans time slot to kick off the postseason. It's like the Chargers. If you heard the Justin Herbert audio, they were celebrating they get Houston. I saw Rex Ryan said that the Chargers essentially get a bye. Of the games this weekend, either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday night, which is the one that you could care less about, and which is the one you're most looking forward to watching?
Oh, I think the Ravens win pretty easily in that game. So, yeah, I mean, Lamar's always exciting to watch. So, I don't mind that game at all. The Commanders-Bucks, I think is going to be a great game, very enjoyable to watch, and excited to see Jaden Daniels play in a playoff game. So that's one I'm interested in. There's so many I think that are intriguing. I think the Vikings, frankly, the Vikings-Rams game could be really, really interesting. And I'm not ruling a Rams win out of that. I very well think that they could beat the Vikings, and the Vikings could be one and done despite how well they played in the regular season, which would be wild to have them out in the first round. That's probably the game I'm most interested in, is seeing how the Vikings are going to rebound from that loss to the Lions. And two of their three losses were against the Lions, so they're pretty darn good. But they can lose the Rams. They've shown that. So the Rams have a chance to beat them and eliminate them early, which would be saying something. And then how are the Packers going to play too? That's the other thing. Jordan Love was banged up in that game. So I'm interested in seeing how the Packers are going to come back and play and see how Jordan Love plays. I mean, there's so many. I love this round a lot because it's two games and it's three games and it's one game. I like the way they do it. And, we got football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday that is meaningful football. So I think that's exciting.
It's going to be, you're right. With the college games on Thursday and Friday and then the NFL over the weekend, it's going to be a great several days of football. Charean, stay safe up there in Dallas with that winter storm coming that they're talking about is about what it was during the Super Bowl 45 that North Texas hosted. Lovely.
Yeah, I'm actually in Beaumont now, and I was going to go back Thursday, so I'm going home tomorrow to make sure and beat the storm back to DFW.
Be safe out there. Glad everything went well with your dad today. Appreciate you, Charean.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at NFL Charean and read her there at Pro Football Talk. She, like all our guests, on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. Interesting speed bump, if you will, on the new Spurs arena. We will explain coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Minix, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little hungry. It's getting close to dinner time, and man, I'm getting a little hungry and thinking about a pizza. Pizza sounds pretty good tonight, doesn't it? I'm going to tell you the place I want to go is Round Table Pizza. This place is different than any other place in town. I'm going to tell you, they are superior pizza, and they've got a commitment to quality and authenticity that have earned them the reputation of pizza royalty for over 60 years. They've got signature ingredients. They make their dough from scratch. It's got that crispy golden brown crust every time. They got a 3-cheese blend and, well, toppings that go all the way to the edge. I love that. You're never having a bite without a topping on your pizza. They've got a new pepperoni. They've got a new grilled chicken. They've got a new bacon pizza that are available only for a limited time, but it's at a price you can't beat. And you can pair that, your pizza, with some shareables. How about mozzarella sticks, spicy jalapeno poppers, even golden potato wedges? They got it all at Round Table Pizza. It is a perfect place to go. You ought to do it tonight. And to find your nearest location, or if you want to order pickup or delivery, go to roundtablepizza.com. That's roundtablepizza.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Wednesday on the Morning Huddle, the clock continues to tick. Does Mike still have a job? We'll catch you up. And we'll preview Spurs Bucks as the Spurs try to get off the schneid. All that and more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
You know the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch any big game with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch the game. Just down from the big blind, the Roo Pub, right next to the Angry Elephant. 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
70,000 people are here, and Bob Dylan is the reason for it.
Inspired by the true story.
For anyone who's going to hold your attention on a stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
Are you a freak?
Hope so.
And starring Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan. He defied everyone.
Turn it down! Play loud!
To change everything.
Make some noise, BD.
Timothy Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro, a complete unknown. Now playing only in theaters. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
James Fletcher with San Antonio Sports Star here. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? The playoffs are here and time is running out. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Just select 2 or more players, choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Pick 6 is available in most states including Texas, Missouri, California, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code KTFM. That's code KTFM for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus award is non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
South Texas. Get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. The one and only Rich Eisen is on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. Every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Interesting headline, an article that just dropped in the San Antonio Express News, an article written by Brooke Park. Headline, Bexar County won't ask voters to fund new Spurs arena without more details and an East Side plan. Oh.
Interesting. That's comes from Bexar County Judge Peter Sakai, who says he won't support a tax election this spring to help pay for a new downtown Spurs arena until he knows how much the facility is going to cost, and he has guarantees on the current Spurs home, the Frost Bank Center.
That it won't just languish over there when it says if, but when the NBA franchise moves out. Apparently, Spurs executives have been pushing Bexar County Commissioner's Court to call for a May venue tax election. That timeline appears unlikely given the first-term county judge's conditions. And he said, the quote in the Express News, if you ask me today if I'll call for a special meeting to consider a venue tax election in May, my answer today is no.
It's unbelievable to me, honestly. This is such a big deal that Judge Sakai doesn't have all the information that he needs. Somebody from the Spurs organization should have had that on his desk almost immediately. Here's what we're planning to do. Here's everything, because they've only got till February the 14th to call for a spring election. So we're not talking about a long time from now.
No, a month and 7 days. So when you look at, and again, this is above my pay grade. We're in the sports department for a reason. But do you think that the commissioner's court types and the county judge, all those closed-door meetings in the planning, we're all signing those NDAs that we heard about when we heard about Project whatever it was called? Marvel, right? Did he not have all that information then, or most of it? Was he not included in that? I don't know the answer to that, but I would think that he would be. My other question, because right now they're in the county-owned Frost Bank Center, but won't it be a city-owned new facility, or is it going to be a combination of the both? Do we need a Bexar County election, or do we need a San Antonio election? Because it kind of feels like the mayor has pushed this quite a bit, that city. Of course, he's on his way out, but it feels like everything now is moving. Alamo Dome was city, Frost Bank Center, county. Now we're moving back to city. So part of me is a little surprised that it's Bexar County's judge, but this is way above my political level. Does the city call for that, or does the county have to call for that, even though it ends up being owned by the city?
Well, I think if you're calling for a special tax vote, you're wanting all of Bexar County to vote on this thing.
Yeah.
You're not just wanting the city, and you're wanting, tax revenue from everybody. He's quoted in this article saying there are many questions about the Spurs' proposal for a venue tax election and not enough answers at this time. And he also says we're missing out on the input of the public. So he'd like to hear from the public and hear what they have to say about this, and are they willing and wanting to fund a new arena for the San Antonio Spurs?
Well, I mean, we all want to understand what the details are. And, in the same article, Precinct 4 Commissioner Tommy Calvert, they want to know what they're going to do on the east side. Are they going to do anything to revitalize? Now, remember, and if you were in San Antonio in the late 90s when all this was there, the idea was we're going to build it there. The rodeo people came in and kind of saved the Spurs. We're going to build this arena on the east side, and with that, all these businesses are going to come, and we're going to revitalize the east side. And none of that has happened.
Never happened.
None of there's not restaurants near the arena. We go to the arena, and we get out of that part of town. That's what's happened there. There's nothing there to have you come to the arena early, or game is over, concert is over, and you go to a dinner, you go to a bar. None of the revitalization has happened at the Frost Bank Center.
Not a thing, and you're exactly right. That's exactly what was promised and sold to all the folks on the east side and everybody else in the city, and none of that happened. So I don't know what answers that Judge Sakai and the county commissioners are looking for, but if I'm the Spurs and I'm seeing this article, and I'm sure they've heard from Judge Sakai already anyway,
sure,
I'm making sure that he has whatever he needs, and he has it immediately. I mean, if you want this vote in May, because if it doesn't happen in May, it can't happen until November. And then obviously you're talking about a year, and it obviously sets the construction of that arena back at least that long. So I'm thinking somebody within the Spurs organization needs to get Judge Sakai whatever he needs and get it to him ASAP.
You think about, apparently at a December 10th closed door meeting, Sakai said everything could be held off because staff hadn't determined how much revenue the venue tax could raise. I mean, you got to figure all this out. I am really surprised, or not. It's politics and it's tax money, right? How much are the Spurs actually going to put in? I'm not surprised they don't have that answer. The Spurs want you to pay for as much of this as they can, even though they're going to pony up some money. But with all the pre-planning that appeared to go into Project Marvel, and when they had that display, which was at City Council, was it not? That these basic questions weren't answered, even if they weren't spot on. They were estimates, guesstimates, if you will, educated guesses. I am really surprised that they didn't have all that lined up prior to announcing Project Marvel and the numbers that were released then. So it is seemingly bizarre that the county judge, Peter Sakai, would have the comments that he has today.
You would think so. I mean, if this is that important to the Spurs and they want to get this thing started and approved and funded and all of that stuff, then, yeah, that's what they need to do. Seeing here, too, it's just a good reminder that the Frost Bank Center, it was a $190 million facility, the Frost Bank Center, and voters then agreed to impose a 1.75% tax on hotel rooms and a 5% tax on short-term car rentals. And that happened back in 1999. And, of course, the Frost Bank Center opened up in 2001. So I'm assuming it would be something similar to that. But, look, Judge Sakai, you got to satisfy the questions that he has because – obviously, it's very important that he's on board with this.
Well, it is, and it says here in the article in the San Antonio Express-News, city officials, too, have pinpointed the county's venue tax as a potential source of funding for the arena. City officials want to move the Spurs into an arena that would anchor a sports and entertainment district known as Project Marvel to be built around Hemisphere. So, obviously, the money we're getting from this venue tax is a big part of how they plan on paying for this.
Absolutely. So, going to be an interesting month to see if this gets done and if Judge Sakai gets on board with this thing and the rest of the county commissioners to see if we move forward and you let the citizens decide in May, or do we have to wait till November?
Well, I mean, knowing they want to get the new Wemby Center built as soon as possible, they want a May vote. If it goes to November, I don't know. And I think, again, I'm not political enough, but aren't elections like this in May generally lower turnout, so easier to get things passed?
Yes, that is true. That has been true. You're absolutely right. So, look, I don't know what questions he has, but I'd be there tomorrow.
Don't piss off the county judge.
No, I'd be there tomorrow and say, sir, what is it you need?
If he's the guy that's determining whether it gets on the ballot, get the dude what he needs.
Yes, get him what he needs, and let's get this thing going.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. Obviously, this story just breaking. We'll continue to talk about it as we learn more. Right now, though, let's do our injury update. Powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at tsaog.com. Let's welcome on the Buyers Barricades guest line, Dr. Jeffrey Schroff from over there at TSAOG. And Doc, I'm more curious. I saw this interesting story about Deshaun Watson having a setback in his Achilles recovery that wasn't discovered until his exit physical. What kind of setback do you have in your Achilles recovery?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, they didn't give too much details about what exactly the setback was. You know, there's plenty of things that can go wrong throughout your recovery, but you would think, you know, things like, you know, a re-tear or something like that would have been caught earlier on than when he was doing his exit physical. It's hard to know. It could be that, you know, he has more weakness than they thought when they were doing some testing, or if there was maybe something. Sometimes when you're repairing the AC or the Achilles, you need to set the tension correctly so that they can have that good explosiveness, and maybe that wasn't where they wanted it to be. It's hard to know, and like I was saying, they didn't give too much details about it, so really hard to know what that would be or why it would take that long to pick it up, considering how many eyes would be on him throughout his recovery. So
yeah, and he may not. It could keep him out the entire season, which the Cleveland Browns may not mind anyway. Doc, I want to ask you a question, and Jalen Hurts, he had a concussion 2 weeks ago, and he's still in concussion protocol. Do you know what the parameters are for passing a concussion protocol and being cleared?
So there's a lot of tests physically and mentally that they want to see somebody, having the ability to do. They have to be able to tolerate mental and physical stimulus. So running and different mental tests and things like that without having any symptoms that are occurring. So he may still be having things like headache or still feeling dizzy or having issues with his balance. There's lots of different tests that they'll perform on a player, and given this, depending on the severity of the concussion, sometimes it's quick, just a week or so. Sometimes it can take longer, and those symptoms can really linger for longer. So that sounds like where he is right now is maybe just having some lingering symptoms. I was just going to say, you can't really safely release a player back until all of those symptoms are gone, because it's really if they were to have a repeat injury while they're still having those symptoms, it's kind of a second hit to the brain, which is where we think a lot of the major issues with these athletes come in, is that second hit after the initial one.
Dr. Jeffrey Schroff joining us here on the Blitz for our injury update. The human body is an incredible thing, right? As soon as you see a player and you hear ACL, they are out for the season. It happened to Watson in Green Bay. Then I read about the quarterback from Indiana, Curtis Rourke, played through a torn ACL, and they're thinking he might have got hurt on October 26th. How do you play through a torn ACL?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story, and I mean we've had athletes in the past that have had known ACL deficient knees, and they're able to play and participate. There's this concept in ACL surgery and recovery of people who are copers, which essentially means that they're able to function at a fairly high level, and in Rourke's case at a pro level, without an ACL, without a competent ACL, and even my standard patients or anybody that tears their ACL after a certain period of some pain and some swelling, most of the symptoms will improve. They'll really have they won't have much pain. They'll get their range of motion back generally, and they can do even higher level things like running in a straight line. It's usually when they're doing cutting and changes of direction where they'll notice or they'll have issues. But like with Rourke, even there's some people that just are able to even tolerate those higher level motions without having an issue. So the main problem, and he is going to end up getting surgery, would be, over his career, it exposes him to a risk of having, another major injury because he doesn't have, that complete stability of his knee, and that could cause meniscus damage or cartilage damage, which could impact his career long term. So, it's great that he was able to play through it, but hopefully he does well with surgery, and at least this allows him to kind of time it in a more convenient time frame.
Well, Doc, speaking of injuries, a knee sprain. Zay Flowers with the Baltimore Ravens suffered a knee sprain last Saturday, and it's not expected to linger too long. But what exactly is a knee sprain, and how long is a typical recovery?
So a sprain is it's just a broad kind of catch-all term for kind of a stretch or a partial injury to a ligament. In this case, it's likely like an MCL or an LCL. And when we say sprain or a strain, it just means that it's not a complete injury, it's essentially the ligament was stretched or just partially torn, and that usually bodes better for his recovery. Based on we usually grade a strain based on the laxity that someone has. So it sounds like his is kind of lower grade, just something that they picked up on the MRI. So usually something that is a few weeks maybe of some time to recover from that, and then people can get back pretty quick.
Good stuff. Dr. Jeffrey Schroff, always appreciate the knowledge and insight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
Good stuff. Dr. Jeffrey Schroff with the injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at tsaog.com. Dr. Schroff and all our guests on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.
Good stuff.
Played the entire year with an ACL.
That's crazy. Tough guy.
Kind of makes everybody else look bad,
I know,
right?
Right. Yeah, rub some dirt on it. Let's go. Get back in there.
Yeah. David Montgomery, you're fine. Come on back. It's playoff time. It's money time. The Morning Huddle gets you going tomorrow morning at 6. Rob and AJ from 6 to 10. Then Greeny, Rich Eisen. The Blitz back tomorrow at 2. Extra innings with Pledge coming up next here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. This week, later in the week, you're definitely going to want your heater turned on if you haven't done that yet. And if you have any issues with your heater, or if it freezes in pipes and you need a plumber, there's one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC at 210-651-5899, 651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. Quartermoon, Heating, AC, Plumbing, one company. 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
Riding I-10 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM, Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.